nobody there. Means no one to share your last meal with. Your spirit's in disrepair. You wonder if Siddhartha wished all the Buddha. Was he scared? Hope his people make it back to hell. Hope his people make it back to hell. Was Jesus' father fair? Was justice done there on that limb? God's hand must have been scared, because the devil's always after him. Yeah, the devil's always after him. Oh, Apollo, can we be spared and wait for impending disaster? Oh, does anything care? Oh, they write in Zoroaster. Oh, are you even there? Or is it life in darkness after? Oh, is it life in darkness after? Oh, are you even there? Or is it life in darkness after? Oh, is it life in darkness after? Oh, about the way the world's crumbling down and down and down? No beach, just coast will come closer to town. Well, I see San Francisco Bay in the sundown through goggles or underground. Suddenly, California can't be found. Should all take a good last look around. It's closing time. I leave on the neon glow and the open sign. You're coming anytime, but you passed it by the road you're on. Gotta try to turn around your own design. Oh, but you're running out of time. How long do you think we'll stumble around and drown, saying the structure of the world was faulty found? For what it's worth, the earth is round. Ain't got no good news to say, so say nothing at all, at all, at all. How long till the third tallest tower falls? you blasted by the road you're on. Gotta try to turn around your own design. Oh, but you're running out of time. There's hope alive inside. You're coming out of time. 'Cause there's hope alive inside. You're running out of time, but there's hope alive inside. You're coming out of time, 'cause there's hope alive inside. Oh, but you're running out of time. I wonder why you walked on by. Could it be so hard to smile? I think I'll follow you at least another mile and hold it down, but won't you all the while? All the while. Ever since our two roads have crossed, I don't know if I'm lost. I suppose that it's possible. Could you help me find God? I'm exhausted. Had it, I lost it. No matter the cost, won't just watch you walk on by. Could you say it if I should even give it a try? I don't want you to lie. I want your love is all I want for my life. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. And I wonder now if you knew somehow I was following behind. I'm on a cloud to help me write down this song of mine. You hold your head down, 'cause it's always on your mind. It's always on your mind. Ever since our two roads have crossed, I don't know if I'm lost. I suppose that it's possible. Could you help me find God? I'm exhausted. Had it, I lost it. No matter the cost, won't just watch you walk on by. Could you say it if I should even give it a try? I don't want you to lie. I want your love is all I want for my life. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. You should say anything I can do for you. Should say anything I can do for you. Should say anything I can do for your love. 'Cause for love you're gonna need two roads and crossed. I don't know if I'm lost. I suppose that it's possible. Would you help me find God? I'm exhausted. Had it, I lost it. No matter the cost, I'll just watch you walk on by. Could you say it if I should even give it a try? I don't want you to lie. I want your love is all I want for my life. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. So I want for my life to have love is all. Standing on the patio outside your door, I knock once more, wishing that you loved me so much more, and that you'd open up this door. Baby, if you could somehow see the simple man I could be, I think you love, my love, and if you want it, then it's yours. Got a ticket in the crowd outside your door. I feel ignored, but now I know I hold the number 4. I know you'll never love me more. Baby, if you could somehow see the simple man I could be, I think you love, my love, and if you want it, then it's yours. Hanging on the handle on your door, never felt less like a man before. Can't you see that I need this, and we could be so damn much more? Oh baby, if you could somehow see the simple man I could be, I think you love, my love, and if you want it, then it's yours. Since you left me guessing at the scene of this crime, baby, I've sought to find out heaven, everything you've left behind. Got the memory of the moment you last lived in my mind. However, heaven right here on earth is now so hard to find. So I will travel to eternity to see creation's most beautiful sight. If to me, oh heaven, your gates are even open past tonight. And if I say it, you can trust it's true, 'cause I have put my trust in you. So lie is what I must not do, unless in love and just with you, just with you. Since you left me guessing at the scene of this crime, baby, I've sought to find out heaven, everything you've left behind. I've got the memory of the moment you last lived in my mind. However, heaven right here on earth is now so hard to find. So I will travel to eternity to see creation's most beautiful sight. If to me your heaven, your gates are even open past tonight. And if I say it, you can trust it's true, 'cause I have put my trust in you. So liar's what I must not do, unless in love and just with you, just with you.
The way that I'm thinking about things is like I'm accepting a narrative that, in one sense, like he's telling me I'm lying.
Alright, dudes. We're almost about to get started. I'm at the new place, so please, bear with me. Okay. Internets. Twitch. There we go. Kick. There we go. Alright, okay. Let's see here. That'll work. Boom. Chica. Pop. Okay, alright. Let's see. Actually, I am gonna put the music back on, just not that fucking song there.
This brook will continue to babble on long after the light is gone. And if you heed her song, she'll lead you to Zion. A good book away for Sauvignon, a guarantee a light left on. Believers and none may both be wrong. I think the thing you can rely on is a riverside road to ramble on, past the last of your destinations, and you can only amble along, hoping it leads you to Zion.
This brook will continue to Babylon. I've been trying to find her heart, but I guess that is gone. That is all I wanted. I thought you wanted the same, and I thought I had found the answer in money, but lost the change. I can't keep following you down these blind roads. Driving with no GPS, I lose you everywhere I go. And I wanted you to call me and say that you were right in front of me. Instead, I'm writing songs thinking, what the hell have you done to me? What the hell have I done to you? I took away your innocence, but I guess it helped you out cause you're on your Miss Independent ship. I just wanted closure, you started it, let me finish it. But I can't get it right unless I write and send my penmanship. We lost that friendship, but gained experience. I was high off your love, but I think I'm getting delirious. You take over my thoughts. Now that I know you hated it, I guess I'm just a blank space, and that would make you Taylor Swift. But let me take this path I chose, cause I'm sick of trying to find happiness in money, cars, and clothes. And I'm sick of everyone telling me that they've been down this road, cause I walked down it and found nowhere to go.
This brook will continue to babble on long after the light is gone.
Babylon, trying to find nirvana. I'll have to find it alone. I can see that in your persona. I need to be here alone. There was nothing that you could help me with. At least back then I had somebody to be selfish with. All alone, it's just me and this pen. Lost my life, lost my girl, lost my world, lost my friend. I am in the places in, cause I made it past the misery. I'll never let another person take away my energy. I'll never look back and say I was too scared to go for it. Used to always do that, now I got nothing to show for it. Oh Lord, hose or hosier, take me to church because at least nobody knows me there. People without the vision hate it, but below they're scared. Hope I care a little, but look in my eyes and know what's there. But when the light drops, it turns into a solar flare, and everything's no longer black and white, no polar bear. And everything I thought was real somehow just faded, man. I just wanna look at my dad and say I made it, man. He told me, son, just speak your mind and never take it back. I'm trying to find a path to Zion, I hope I make it back. Until then,
This brook will continue to Babylon long after the light is gone. And if you heed her song, then she'll lead you to Zion. A good book away for a Sauvignon, a guarantee a light left on. Believers and none may both be wrong. I think the thing you can rely on. Riverside roads will ramble on, past the last of your destination. And you can only amble along, hoping it leads you to Zion. Da. Baby, don't you know, don't you know, don't you cry. Lot of more day to the day that I die. Lot of more day to the day that we die. Baby, don't you know, don't you know, don't you cry. Lot of more day to the day that we die. I had a hand in mine next to me, but at the moment that hand's a bar. A pretty woman put her X on me, saying now the sky's gonna fall. But she don't know she'll be the next to be crying like a porcelain doll. This pretty girl, that ain't sex to me. It's putting your back up against my wall. And if only my loneliness and love loving me, yeah, then why does Miss Misery keep... I had a hand in mine next to me, but at the moment that hand's a ball. A pretty woman put her hex on me, saying now the sky's gonna fall. But she don't know she'll be the next to be crying like a porcelain doll. Cause pretty girl, it ain't sex to me. It's putting your back up against my wall. And if only my loneliness loves loving me, yeah, then why won't Miss Misery leave my leash a little slack? So close to defeat that my feet are slipping through the cracks. Whoa, whoa, how I wish she'd wish away the weight from my back. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. So damn it, woman, quit testing me in that simmering southern drawl. Let the woman get the best of me, now she's thinking she could save us all. So lying lady, laying ecstasy, taking shelter from your own squall. Cause pretty girl, it ain't sex to me, it's putting your back up against my wall. My wall, my wall. tell. So die we might as well. But no, I know you I do defy. No lie that I could tell. So now I've got to try to find my soul and sell. If only my loneliness loving me, yeah. Then why won't this misery leave my leash a little slack? So close to defeat that my feet are slipping through the cracks. Whoa, how I wish she'd wish away the weight from my back. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This brook will continue to babble on long after the light is gone. And if you heed her song, she'll lead you to Zion. A good book, a wafer, Sauvignon, a guarantee, a light left on. Believers and none may both be wrong. I think the thing
Alright,
you can
guys, I think
rely
Kick is
on.
gonna suck ass
Riverside road to ramble on, past the last of your
today,
destinations.
but that's just gonna have to
Only
be
amble along,
what happens.
hoping it leads you to Zion.
I hope it leads you to Zion, boys and girls. Okay, well I guess it only sucks on that. Okay, okay. Looking good. Looking fine.
Okay, here.
So I'm like trying to figure that out. It's possible.
I have some advice for you. So, I think you should adopt the philosophy of nihilism. I was actually able to cure my depression due to nihilism.
Bro, I would do it
It's
for
the
you for free,
recognition
bro.
that
And you could
nothing matters.
Pay me
Why
when
does
you feel like
unique
it.
matter?
Well,
That
it
would be
doesn't matter.
a
Well,
gift
it does.
to
It does
me.
matter. It does emotionally. It has.
No.
I need to turn that down. It would be a gift to me to have a project to work on, send you a couple of things, and see what you like and what you don't. That'd be dope. And to have been asked to be nominated is an honor. Good to see you, by the way, buddy. It's been a while. I missed you. Am I all set? I think I'm all set. Alright. Turn destiny down.
Impact. It does to the person emotionally.
Bombing.
So, I don't know why we
Destiny.
care.
Okay, what's up? What do you want?
Yeah, dude,
Do you want to just do?
if we're still friends in
dinner
a
and
year,
actually, like, give me real
we can
advice
talk
and
then.
talk like as friends, or do you want to do it for content?
and
You know,
Don't
a
take
constant
that as
driven guy. No, we
me
can
doubting
do
that
dinner
we
if you
would.
want. Yeah, the only problem is I wouldn't be able to do it until like next month because my kid's here until the 28th.
Oh my god.
hell yeah, so
Yeah.
talk to me about
Oh, you can just type messages to me and I can type back.
like what you're
But it's probably
looking
the same shit I've said in the
what
past.
you're
It's probably
looking
the
for.
exact same shit, but
No, it's not. It's not about that. It's more about like my perspective of whether or not like I'm
Alright, I'm
not
getting
healthily thinking about things, or
is my noise
like,
gate keeping the
I guess like I'm kind of feeling like
fan noise?
the way that I'm thinking about things is like I'm accepting a narrative that, in one sense, like he's telling me I'm lying to myself because I want to believe that he didn't care about me and gave up too easily and stuff like that. And like I'm just trying to figure out like if I'm not like, am I actually not thinking healthily about things for my process to like let go? Like, is that an unhealthy way to try to let
No,
go?
it's coming up. Alright,
Hmm.
I'm gonna kill the fan
Do you have
behind
somebody
me.
that you
It's
trust
like-
to give you feedback on your thought process?
I've been talking to my therapist.
That's true,
that
too.
part I have, but
And I would try and
even
make it
then,
something
like,
that would like
I mean that's still
loop
relatively
around into
new.
itself.
Okay. I mean, that's
I could get you the
Basically what you
file,
need-
you would have to be able to
um,
set it up to
is you
either
need a
play
friend
on repeat.
or a therapist that you can trust to give you feedback on your thought process.
Are we talking
Who will
something
give you
with
honest information
lyrics
and not just simp for you.
or
But this
just
requires
musical?
you to also be soliciting honest information and to be receptive to honest information. I don't know. I don't think we've had very many critical conversations, so I can't say. But I don't. If you are cutting out people that are telling you things you don't want to hear, and you're hunting for certain opinions, then you're never going to get good feedback on your thought process, and you're just going to constantly be upset unless you're getting what you want from whoever that you're arguing with. I'm not saying that you do that. I'm just saying that that's a thing that a lot of people run into.
Because I have a whole bunch of
Right.
like instrumental stuff that I would be
Because like I wanted to rant
super
and vent, but then I was
excited
like, that's why
to
I told
try
you, like,
just
we could chat
recording.
privately. I'd rather just message you and not do the whole
Sure.
whatever. Because I have stuff that
And,
I actually am gonna like want to
just,
tell
like,
you
orchestrate-
and get your honest feedback, like of my actions alone, just like and how I'm like perceiving things or whatever. So like, yeah, if you're down when you're not busy, like I'll type it out. I'll make it make sense and then get your feedback that way instead of just like crying on your stream.
just make an
Yeah, that's
arrangement.
fine. I will say that like when you write stuff down, like this is the process, okay, that I would go through. All right, if I were you, okay. If you have a particular thing that you want to talk to somebody about, okay. So first you think like, okay, I want to solicit feedback from this person. I need them to talk about a particular thing. Okay. So
West did I
write down your thoughts that you want feedback on, okay, from the person. Oh, I'm writing this down here. Okay. Write down your thoughts, you know, whatever it is that you want to talk about or get feedback on. Okay. Once you've written
That's
that down,
true.
all right, stop and look at it
And
and read it.
Honestly, if I'm
and
playing to my
ask yourself
strengths,
two
my
questions.
my
Well,
lyrics
it's
are
one
going to be
question, okay?
more like
What are you looking to get from asking for that
they're not
feedback?
as topical
Because
as they
another
are
trap that
like
people will fall
sort
into
of
is
philosophical
like, here's
play
two
on
ways that a conversation
words,
can go, okay?
like
Hey, I want to talk to you. I'm trying to get
thoughts
some
and
feedback. And then the person's
feelings,
like, okay, yeah, what's up?
as
Okay,
opposed
well, it's
to
about my
like
friend.
I could
Okay, yeah,
never
talk
write
to
a
me.
parody
Okay, so
or a
every
comedy
single time my friend
song.
comes over, he throws shit all over my apartment, and he takes shits in the toilet, and he doesn't flush, and he throws stuff at my cat, and he hurts my cat, and I'm upset by this. Do you think I'm right to be upset? Those types of conversations
no,
are
I'm
completely unproductive.
100%
and totally not
on
helpful
board
because
with
all
what
you're
you're
doing
saying, bro.
is basically ranting out a whole list of issues with the other person, and you're looking for validation in your feelings.
Validation,
Yeah,
right.
there's nothing wrong with validation, but you have to understand that validation is just there to make you feel better. It can help you cope with things. It can help you, you know, shore up like if you're like mentally distraught for a moment.
that's
or if you're having
exciting,
trouble
man.
Accepting that
I
you're
will-
even feeling a particular thing, like it's okay to sit there.
It
and
gives
validate
me an
feelings for a bit,
excuse to actually
but don't
bust
seek
out the
critical
free
feedback from
software I
people and confuse
downloaded
validation with critical
and
feedback. If you're ranting about somebody
and
all
start
you're
doing
is
a
going all the bad things
recording
they've done,
and doing
then you're just
something
asking yourself to
without
justify. All you're looking for is
doing
validation.
something without
That's not
lyrics and that I
feedback, yeah.
haven't like
if you are writing
that I don't
poems,
have
ideally,
like the
once you've written it out,
structure of
what you're looking
oh
for
this
is,
is
like,
a
hey,
song that I
what are
wrote
the
and I
mistakes you think I
wanna
made here, and how can I avoid these in the future? That's
get
what
this
you
from
should
start
be
to finish
looking
like I
for.
have it in
Yeah.
my head,
but
more
usually,
like
99% of the
here's
time,
a
I don't know if you're gonna do
riff
this,
or
but usually what people
a
are doing is they're looking to
piano
list
line that I
problems,
wrote,
and they're looking for you to
and
give them
let's see-
like, hey, like what can I do
let's see
to
what I
make
can
this
make
thing
with,
still
like, a
work? Or like I understand that these
3
are
or
happening,
4
but like, this
minute
is like his problem, right? But I can change this so that we
something
can
that,
still like
like,
work and we can still do this or whatever.
has a
Usually
couple
people are
of
looking
different
for a way
vibes
back
to it,
whatever they left, and that's
but
the only reason
that
they're
sort of
doing
like
it.
Yeah, I
plays
feel
back
like
into
the
itself.
thing that you just said right before that last part is close to like where
Sounds
my
like a fun
mindset
puzzle.
keeps going too. Is like constantly looking for
The
a way
move-
to figure out how
oh
can I
my
fix
God,
this
the move was
situation,
great,
even though
dude.
it's like obvious there shouldn't be a situation anymore. I shouldn't
Like,
hold on to like
I'm gonna
that
shut
thought. I
Destiny up
shouldn't
for a
want
minute, actually.
that anymore. And then I feel like
So, my birthday was 3 days ago. If it's the 11th, yeah, my birthday was 3 days ago. And, so I had to get my license renewed. And I'm not gonna say no, it's all good. I missed streaming on my birthday. I'm not gonna say the city that I moved to, but the city that I did move to is experiencing a pretty good population boom currently, and their infrastructure is like so streamlined to handle that, it's ridiculous. Like, I went to the DMV just to get my license renewed and get the address changed on it and shit, and ended up walking away like getting the title for my the old state that I was in. I've been driving around in this state with a registration and a tag for the state that I came from so many years ago, just renewing it back in that state with my parents' address. And finally I took the title and I got it changed over to my state and got a new tag for my car, got it all done, and it was just like, it was a doorknob question. It was like, as I was on my way out, I was gonna ask the lady for the paperwork in order to like come back and do that. She ended up just like zooming through the paperwork for me and fucking like just let me email her the documentation that I needed for it, and just like quarterbacked it all the way, like everything done, like shit that would take days and hours of those days in the county that I came from, took one stop. And that's just like one of the sort of government offices that I've had to interact with around here, and they've all been like super streamlined, super polite, super informative, and like quick. So yeah, I've had a great move as far as the city's concerned. The neighborhood is like, yeah, no, I mean, I live in Florida, and Florida is notorious for having like really shoddy bureaucratic red tape. Like, everything takes forever, and people are known to even like buy the DMV appointments, the Department of Motor Vehicle appointments, and resell them online for a markup. And because they're just, it's so hard to like actually get shit you need done. So yeah, in this county it's run by the actual government. In the last county I was in, it's they farm it out to private contractors. So that's why it's all for profit. So yeah, the neighborhood's nice. The HOA, we got the HOA called on us on the first night, in the first hour and a half we were here, because our moving truck was parked over the sidewalk. So that's gonna be something we have to deal with, but at the same time, the neighborhood's fucking beautiful, and everybody's fucking polite and chill, because they'll get $100 fine if they aren't. No more people at the gym with their phones playing loud ass music while I'm trying to do a Sudoku or something. It's literally written into the bylaws of the HOA that rude behavior is subject to fines. Okay. Let me fix this here. Mic. Audio. Mic aux. Filters. Noise suppression. Come on. Is that my overhead fan? Yeah, well, it's the homeowners association, like basically like has you by the balls. Um, uh, we didn't have to pay all the fees, but our landlord lives in this same neighborhood. It's a huge ass neighborhood. Um, so yeah, we would get assessed with the fine. Like if we leave our garbage pickup carts, our garbage bins out there for too long, we'll get a fine. Some shit like that. We're not allowed to have like plastic chairs on the front lawn. We moved from an apartment to a house, and I'm telling you, this room that I'm streaming in is so much bigger than the last room I was in. Like I got all this room for like my keyboard and everything. Like it's so chill. Like I'm on the couch with my TV on a little like rolly table, and I can sit here and look at all the screens at the same time. Like my keyboard's right here now, so I don't have to like get up and go across the room and shit. Yeah, this place is so dope. Thanks for asking. How about you? I think everybody's good here. Oh, I was talking about my stream room and how spacious and room for activities it is. Um, just the house that we're living in is completely bonkers how nice it is. And yeah, I was actually thinking about getting a job doing like AAA roadside assistance. 'Cause her brother uh works up here and he does work with cars, and he said he was looking into that and they get paid really good. Yeah, well, I hit the girlfriend lottery, that's all I can say. Considering we're several thousand miles apart, I understand that that's a wink and a nudge joke, but yeah, unfortunately, no, my friend. Oh, thank God they started eating this food. Okay, I need to let this guy out of prison, so I gotta wait till the daytime. Play any cool games lately? Wait. Yeah, yeah. /S. Oh, fuck. I was gonna watch that VOD with you. And then I ended up ghosting for a month. Hell yeah. No, man, that definitely got that fell along the wayside. I'm sorry about that. Well, I did want to see it. I wasn't lying about that, I'll tell you. Well, I'll be here. Perform the ocean's bounty ritual. Oh, you're trying to make me stick around and fish. I feel it, bro. You saved up enough points. Oh, I thought I skipped over points. I thought that was a fucking funny joke. I saved up enough to get Dead by Daylight for free. That would have actually made me chuckle. Playing the crap out of that. Is it? It's a multiplayer like sneak around kind of game, right? That's right, worship me, followers. Yeah, it sounds interesting. It's never really my style of game. I think I watched a trailer for it, or an ad, I guess you would say. Now I have to go fishing because somebody challenged me to do this little fishing thing. come on, na 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 na, come on, na na, come on, na 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 na, come on, na na. I wonder why my noise suppression isn't working. I might need to delete it and reset it. Come on, guys, where's the poop? Oh, I got you. Well, we're gonna have to fix this, cause I have an overhead fan in this bitch, and it's fucking great. But the mic keeps not peaking, but it keeps popping up. Right. Maybe that'll do it. I guess maybe I could turn down the fan too. Oh my lord ass. Supermarket Simulator, baby. That actually sounds more fun than people would give it credit for. You know, it actually might be the AC too. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I think I mentioned that when I was a kid I played something that was like a weekly turn-based like run your store supply and demand style kind of shit. I've never forgotten about it. Zapitalism Deluxe. Yeah, it was just like you would stock your store for the week, and then like during the week you could like choose to go to like a couple of different places and just get like RNG based like penalties or rewards. It was really basic, but for a fucking 8-year-old it was fun and computerized. What's going on, Tim? It's been a while. I had to move. I'm at a new spot. No, it was called like capitalism, but with a Z. Zapitalism Deluxe. Yeah, no, it's been a minute, Tim. Okay, let's set y'all up to fight. Let's go. Do I have to go get bones? Question is. Okay, 37 bones. Damn, I'm not gonna have any more. What you been up to, Tim? It was Tank Fan, I think, that was going for affiliate, so that wasn't you, right, Tim? Yeah, no, it's Zapitalism. It was so janky. Yeah, no, I think it was somebody else that starts with a T and ends with numbers. Oh, I sincerely doubt that it's even available. It might not even. I'm actually curious now. Oh my goodness. It's on Steam. Dash is cray. Fishing, that's dope. I'm actually about to go fishing in game. I've been good, man. I'm sore right now because the guys in my neighborhood play pickleball. I played a bunch of pickleball yesterday. It's just kind of fun. It's like ping pong on a tennis court. Wait, I can't do a sermon? Oh, no, I guess not. Yeah, it was pretty righteous. What do you do stuff for exercise, Hollow Man? Or are you a Dr. Mario exerciser? Exercisee. Unfortunately, our neighborhood just has like an exercise room. It doesn't have like workout machines and treadmills, so yeah. We have to, we've been throwing the frisbee a bunch. That's probably one of the, like, genuinely one of the coolest things about my girl is that from absolutely nothing, she actually, like, got into the frisbee. She's not like a super hand-eye coordinated kind of, like, she didn't play softball or anything like that, but she can throw a frisbee like a champion now, and it's super fun. I always used to get stoned back in high school with my boys and throw the frisbee. Yeah, I think we talked about that. It's like some people would say that's like a high quality problem, but at the same time, like people don't realize that like being overweight isn't the only way that like people can have difficulties with their diet. Damn. I I don't have problems in that regard, unless like I haven't drank for like 5 years, but um if I'm drinking, I balloon. Like I got up to like I'm 5'9", so I got up over 200 pounds, and I was just like, I carry it well. I get a lot of like visceral fat, um, but my face just gets super round. Um, but Amber and I swear we eat like a 1,500 to 2,000 calorie meal every night, and then basically just snack for the rest of the day. And we exercise a fuckload, so we're both pretty skinny. Well, as long as eating is still enjoyable for you for the most part, that could be a plus, I suppose. But yeah, no. Food being expensive, it probably gets annoying having to buy all that food, you know? Alright. Now it's really time to go fishing. I'm gonna waste this upgrade I got. Nice, right? What, you thought I was talking to you? Let me disabuse you of that notion, woman. I could. I can stretch it and then crop the edges, basically. But I don't mind the wide shot. Amber's here. Say hi to Hollow Man. The gang's here. Quit knocking my shit over. He did not think I was dead. Hollow Man says, hey Amber, and Tim Pan says, hello, hello. I think y'all can hear her in the background. Yeah, I had to lower the quality on Kick. So I'm running at 30 FPS on Kick because YouTube was telling me that shit was poor and I was dropping frames, but yeah, I'm gonna fiddle with that because I think I have I think in the encoder that I'm using, I think I can bump it back up to 60 FPS and it'll be all right. So yeah, no, I'm streaming to YouTube, Twitch, and Kick right now with the speed that we got, so I'm not too worried about it. The also the HOA, Hollow Man, since we were talking about it earlier, they provide internet, so that's a $150 bill off of our budget. Yeah, and cable. Sorry, I'm reading chat. Love you, babe. Okie doke. Oh, weddings are fun. Weddings were more fun back when I was drinking, but weddings are fun. Are they all like lame and straight? Or is it gonna be a joyous gay festivity? Well, that's convenient for us because I tend to get along with gay people better. I don't have any necklaces. Oh, that's pretty cool. You got that fucking exclusive Riz. Wait, you're talking about badges, and then all of a sudden you got a random mute button badge on. Coincidence? I think not. Yeah, they are. And well deserved. Alright, I really need to go fishing. Give me that. Nice. I'm still not doing it. I gotta take some motherfucker's confession though. CBI? That's the California Bureau of Investigation. I wonder what Florida's FBI is called. It must be nice to not fucking know what Canadian the Canadian FBI is called. It must not be a fucking joke like the FBI. Wonder how you pronounce that with the little thing over the A. CSIS. I've actually heard that. Ready to confess. Jesus, y'all keep praying the day away. Sweden. Yeah. Is it true that everybody's really hot in Sweden? Probably true? Wouldn't you know? Do you just like walk around the city and just see tens everywhere? Get to work, fools. Alright, I'm out here. Fish, fish, we catch 'em, you buy 'em. Where's all my fish at, homie? I don't know if I believe this, but somebody was saying that that's true because I think it was Joe Rogan was saying that it's because the Vikings only raped the pretty ones. Trigger warning, I guess.
Like, am I seeking like that validation or like that I want the majority of people to agree with me that, oh no, I wasn't loved, therefore it makes sense for me to be like, I don't want it anymore and to move on. Versus if I accept, like, oh, I was loved, then I think that hurts me more because it's like, I feel like I failed at something or I did something wrong and I lost somebody that I cared about.
Sure. Okay. Here.
So I'm like trying to figure that out and process that.
Sure. Trying to figure it out and process it is a lot different than trying to like make rapid fire changes, so that you can like move on to, or so that you can.
It's not even
Sorry.
that hot in
What do you want?
Florida
Vegan
right now,
games?
bro.
Oh, I just thought I could add to the conversation
Oh,
to
shit.
help Xena.
Sure. Okay. Let me just finish up real quick and
Thank
some
you.
random stuff. Okay. Here, when it comes to leaving past relationships, Xena, these are 3 broad pieces of information that I think are true for all people.
Move the
Some
mic
people might
closer to
disagree
my
with me.
face.
I think those
Turn
people are
the
young
video
or
down.
misinformed. I feel very strongly about all 3 things I'm about to say. Okay, so take it or leave it, but you'll never change my mind on these. Okay, so number 1, okay, if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're the only one pouring a lot into a relationship, then it's probably not a good situation. It can't be on one person to make a relationship survive. Even if the relationship ends up working out at periods of time, nobody wants to be in a relationship where they're the only one trying. And when the relationship ever flips in terms of like you getting upset over something, you're going to constantly be in like a pursuer evader dynamic where as soon as you have a problem, the other person wants to split, meaning that you're going to be held hostage basically to their emotional whims at all points in the
Pursuer
relationship.
evader
You're going to be on
dynamic.
their
Yeah.
time frame.
Sounds
You're going to be on
made
their
up on
emotional
the spot.
schedule. You're not going to be able to ever have a problem or express a concern of your own because that person's always going to ditch because they only want to be with you when you're trying like at 1,000,000% to make the relationship work. Okay, number 1. You understand that?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. Don't be stuck in those situations. Okay. Number 1. Okay. Number 2 is if you find that you are pouring a ton of work into a relationship constantly over stressing and fighting and resolving disputes and blah blah blah, but like afterwards, like things are okay. Don't do that. Like you don't want to throw so much effort into a relationship just to build it up to normal. Okay, all that energy could be going towards making a healthy relationship so much more
I
fun.
hate
You don't want to
sleeping
be
in a
dumping
hot
all of that
place.
energy just to make a relationship not want to make you kill yourself. It's such a waste of energy. There are so many more productive relationships to pour your time and energy into. Okay.
Oh, that's another thing.
Number 2.
This
and
place
then
is
number 3,
AC is
you may or may not believe this right
primo.
now. I don't know. If you
The-
don't believe
the
me
last
now, then
place
you're
I
gonna waste
lived
10
was
years of
on
your
the
life.
second
You'll come to
floor
one
and it had
eventually.
vaulted
Okay,
ceilings,
personally,
so the
all right,
like
there are no near
the
misses
ceiling of
ever.
my
Near
apartment was
misses
just like
do not happen in relationships.
right below
If 2
the
people really want to be together and there's like a strong desire
the
to make that
sun
happen, it
like
will happen.
baked my apartment
Barring
all
some
day,
exceptional circumstance like somebody dies of
and
cancer,
the
or
AC
people have
went
to
out
leave
like
maybe for
we lived there for
college,
4
or they get,
years.
like,
The
abducted
AC
by a
went out
kidnapper.
like
If 2 people really want to
5
make a
times,
relationship work,
and
then
every
both
day
sides will find ways
the
to contribute to make it
the
work.
inside
If you're
temperature would
leaving
get up
this,
to
because it
80
usually
degrees
happens when they're falling
Fahrenheit.
apart, especially when one person feels like they're pouring so much effort into it, usually what happens is the biggest reason you're mind yourself is because you're like, fuck, like when it works, it's so good and that's fine, and like we're so close to making it work and blah 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 blah. No, that's not true. If that was the case, you should be able to leave or pull back, and the other person should chase a lot as well. Not just in exceptional times where I'm loading this a lot, but sometimes people
No,
feel
I'm
like
listening.
Sure. Sometimes people feel like when they're being emotional or vulnerable to a partner and they're getting a better response out of their partner, they might think that, well, when I'm showing more or when I'm making this clear, like my partner is like, he does love me and he's willing to put this, blah, blah, blah. In reality, you're probably just putting them into like appeasement mode where they're panicking and they see you having like an emotional response, like, fuck, like, okay, yeah, I love you. It's okay. We'll do this, blah, 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 whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right. So you get into this like super negative death spiral of anytime you're not like super emotional, they're not giving you exactly what you want. Anytime you express a problem, they want to pull back, causing you to show more like vulnerability or big emotions, which is basically like manipulating them into coming back and appeasing you and then getting things back to neutral. This is like a death spiral that you don't want to be stuck in. So if like 2 people like have a bunch in common or enough to like make a relationship really work,
Inside?
these relationships are never going to not happen just because one side just didn't push quite hard enough. They're probably not happening because there's a whole bunch of reasons why they shouldn't happen. And the only way they would ever work is if one side forces it super hard, which is miserable for a whole bunch of other reasons, I would say. Those are 3 pieces of advice that I think applies to every single like
your
ending
thermostat
relationship.
temperature?
Basically, there are no near misses in relationships. Don't think of it that way. It just wouldn't. That's not the case. There's not a near miss. Otherwise, the other side would be putting way more effort in.
Well, damn.
Don't be putting all the effort into the relationship. You're just one person. Don't ever be in an unbalanced circumstance like that. It's bad for your
That'll
mental health,
burn
and it
some
leads to a bunch of other
calories.
external negative things happening. And don't be dumping a bunch of energy into a relationship that you're putting all this energy just to make it so you guys don't hate each other and you're bringing it like back to neutral. Don't do that either. You'd rather dump the energy into something more healthy. Those are the 3 things I say are generally true.
That kind of sounds exactly like what I'm feeling or going through, honestly. So I hear you.
Yeah, well, talk to somebody and you should write down like strict, like orders. I think it's good to like attach like time
Yeah.
constraints. Like, don't say I'm not going to talk to this person anymore.
Amber and I like
And
to
then,
leave
like,
it at
I
like
mean, that's kind of what I'm doing, and that's what
73
he's doing, and
for
I think he's
nighttime,
gonna
and then
stick
like
to that, which is good,
75
and
or
that's healthy. Like,
76
Yeah,
during
but it
I
can't
was
be
talking
like
to my mom
day.
about it, and she was saying too, like sometimes when you care about someone, you do have to walk away, especially for your own mental health. So he is making a right decision when it comes to that, so that we're not trapped in this. But like for me, obviously, it's hard for me to even like get to the point where I can actually like block him, and then I get stuck in this like spiral where it's like he'll write me a big paragraph like apologetic
he
thing
is
and then be
chilling
like,
there.
I'm blocking you so you don't have to respond.
Show
And
this
it's like,
stream.
he writes all this stuff and then blocks me, and so then I'm stuck with this feeling like I have
set
to
up a new
somehow
kitty
reach
tree
out because
today.
I want to reply, and I have to get rid of like not doing that. Like I have to stop not
And I was saying I doubt
I
that
have to
they're
stop
gonna get on the
feeling
little
that way
hammock
as
part
well. Like I
that
have to
she
figure out a way
specifically
that's
bought
gonna
it
make
for.
me able
And
to
I
let
was
go. And I don't want to
wrong.
like just I don't want to let go because I hate
Huh?
this person.
Repeat that?
So I don't. But I also do want to like think of it as honest or as real as I can, like about
Well, he
like
and
you
I
said,
are
like if one person's putting
uh,
a majority of their energy into a
in
relationship
like
and the
I'm
other
in the
person's not,
tropics
then
and
it's
he's
just that
in
they don't want to be together.
the
type
northern
thing.
part of North America.
I have
so
some advice for you. So,
At pretty much
I
it
think you
stays
should adopt the philosophy
80 degrees
of
at night
nihilism.
and
I was
up
actually
to
able to
95
cure my
degrees
depression
during the
due
day
to
for me.
nihilism. It's the recognition that nothing matters. All suffering, and I'm not talking about pain, I'm talking about suffering, which is a distinct thing. Nihilism can't remove any pain. If you stub your toe, it's going to hurt, obviously. But suffering is a different thing. I think the best way I can explain it is pain is the feeling of stubbing your toe. Suffering is the mental state you get into where you are sad about stubbing your toe. You're miserating about stubbing your toe. You're asking, why the hell did this have to happen to me? If you recognize that nothing matters, love doesn't matter, peace doesn't matter, happiness doesn't matter, suffering
so
doesn't
crazy.
matter, your family doesn't matter, nothing matters, that allows you to make an actual conscious decision to choose your feelings. The only
Hell yeah.
reason
But if
I
nothing
can...
matters,
As long as you're, like,
then my feelings
humanely,
won't matter either,
like-
to
That's
choose
right.
my feelings.
You
Well,
knock it
that's
out
right.
and you
Your
do a
feelings
quick
don't matter.
head chop.
But your feelings do
and, like,
have
you're not,
a clear benefit towards you.
leaving it out to just
Um,
like fucking
It is true that
suffocate,
there is
and
no
you're actually
value,
eating it.
there is no meaning.
Like
But
I got
we
no
can
problem
say
with
descriptively that certain feelings do have a benefit to a conscious being.
pulling a fish out of the water
Feeling happy has a
and
benefit
killing
to a
it to
conscious
eat
being.
it.
That's a descriptive claim.
The reason I
If you recognize that
don't eat,
nothing matters,
like,
no
actual
people in your
meat
life matter,
is because
life
I'm
is
just
just
it's
really
Amber
just a
influenced
stupid
me.
game.
B, it's better for my
What is
health.
the point
And
of
C,
miserating about anything? What is
the
the
more I
point
thought
about
about it,
saying, why me?
more
Why
I,
did this have to happen to me? Why are they treating me this way?
I don't really agree with like the factory
it's an
farming shit.
acceptance of the state of reality, and it's also a recognition that you can choose to feel a certain way. Like, let me give you an example. I'm sure you've seen like channels on Reddit like r/public freakout. You'll see arguments people are having where they're ridiculous arguments, you know, road rage, and you laugh at it. It's funny. Why is it funny? It's because you're not a part of the problem, and when you take a look back and you can see this whole circumstance, there's no reason why they're fighting. They could have just gone about their day and nothing happened and everybody would have been happy, but they choose to have the stupid, pointless argument, and here you are laughing about it. But for some reason, when something like that happens to you, where somebody cuts you off, you pull over, you'll start screaming, you'll start getting angry. there's no difference between these two situations, but you've actually made a conscious decision to make it matter. It matters that you're in the right. It matters that that person cut you off. You did nothing wrong. It matters what that person feels. You have to convince them that they're in the wrong. And that's creating the suffering.
Yeah,
If
as
you
long as
would-
that's your
like you can look at all these interactions kind
best
of
practice,
like rain
then-
hitting the water.
I mean, obviously, if
Rain
it's
will hit the
hard to
water, and it
get
will
off the
cause
hook
ripples.
and like
These ripples will
you have to go get
interact
gloves
with
or
other
something
ripples,
so that
and
it
you'll
doesn't
see
cut
this
your hand up.
massive
Like it's
amount of
not like you have
turbulence in the
to pull it
water.
out of the water and
What
immediately
is stopping you
like,
from just being a
club
rock
it
in the water where
and
ripples just bounce off
and
of?
chop the head. Like
If
maybe you want to
could have
put it
an
in a,
outlook on life where you could
put
just
it in
look
a
at
bucket or
these,
something,
like every
like,
every
for a
circumstance
little
that's
while,
happening
but
to
like,
you,
yeah,
you
I
had an
mean,
outlook on life
if you're
the
doing your
same
best for it to
way,
not suffer, then
as when you look
I
at
feel
these,
like
Reddit
that's
posts on r/freako.
infinitely better than
If you
like
had that same
raising
mentality, none of this matters.
a
This
chick
argument is
up
pointless.
to
It's all
like a
stupid.
full-grown
You can just
chicken
choose to laugh at it.
or a calf up to
Why
a
does
full-grown
eating
cow
meat
or a
matter?
piglet up to a full-grown pig.
Well, I'm not saying it does matter.
Only to
I
like
have a certain set of
line it up
preferences
and
that I
fucking
would prefer to see in the
bleed it
world,
dry so it
but
doesn't
I'm not
ruin the
making
meat kind
a
of shit.
claim that it
But that's just my
matters.
opinion.
I'm
I
just
I
saying that
never
I have
judge
certain,
people
a
for
certain set of
fucking
preferences that I'd like to see.
their
And
dietary
I'm-
choices.
And nihilism doesn't mean that you don't have certain preferences. You're going to have a preference to sleep in a warm bed versus a cold floor.
Well, I feel like it would
because
be
you
more
choose-
of a feeling because you're pretty
Sorry?
passionate. Not,
Okay, wait,
like,
hold on,
not
wait,
even
wait,
trying
before
to
we go
think-
to, okay, wait, hold on, because I don't,
Well,
I don't
we,
know.
we,
Wait,
shouldn't,
real
we
quick.
shouldn't get into this argument.
Yeah,
because
I don't wanna do
this
the whole
is an
thing.
important.
This is just
Yeah,
as,
I
a,
was
wait,
gonna
as a quick
go
thing,
with
as a quick thing, because I don't have much time left. Okay, just as a quick thing. Okay, and then you guys can hash as much as you want to talk about nihilism. Okay,
Yeah.
Cena, the
Yeah.
way that you phrase things and the way that you talk, this is an impossible thing to communicate because it's an emotional hurdle that you have to jump over. Is when you're talking about working on yourself or responding to things, okay, you cannot orient yourself emotionally through space and time like you're doing things with the goal or purpose of getting back together with the old relationship. That can't be the case because you're setting yourself up for destruction and you are not setting yourself up for success in any future interaction. So for instance, if you're like, after a relationship like this fails, the thought should be, what kind of energy am I putting out and why am I entering relationships that aren't working for me? Like, what do I need to change? And then you make
Yeah.
those changes. It shouldn't be, if I make these changes, I can make that old relationship work again. Because when you say things like, well, if he sends me a message and blocks me, I have like a compulsion to go and message him on other platforms. Like, that doesn't sound like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
over this and I'm good. That sounds like if I just can
gotta be
argue
pretty
this one point
frustrating,
successfully, if I
but-
can just get this one thing like correct. Like,
And
he'll
I
see
didn't
that
know
I'm right,
this
and then go put in
until
effort and make
recently,
this
but
work and
apparently,
blah, blah,
like
blah, blah. And that's
octopuses,
not-
Yeah, that's my
octopuses are one of
problem.
like the
Well,
smartest
look,
animals.
I'm explaining the root of the problem. The solution to this is nihilism. She's looking at things with this lens that all these things matter. Her relationship with this specific person matters. Things have to work out in a certain way. If you recognize that none of this matters, you can make a conscious choice and make decisions that just benefit you.
Yeah, that might be the case, but I think this is like a whole change philosophically in mindset. That's,
yeah, and it's
gonna-
probably too much for me to like really
Well, it's something that you have to
process
work
or
on.
understand at this point.
Yeah, but I don't think
it's
I would
my
like-
You have to
issue is
work
more
on it over
so
time.
I wouldn't
what
recommend like
Destiny said. It is very much that issue. Exactly what he said is spot on. Everything Destiny said
And
is spot on. I do get to that point where I'm like, if I could argue this or make this point, then I could fix everything and restore what I've wanted. And that's
Well,
the
right.
point that I'm trying to get rid of. I'm trying to get past that point.
Yeah.
I'm at this stage where, for example, the loss of this relationship affects me and hurts me, and I feel pain for it. And then it hurts me when I feel like the person that I'm losing does not feel that pain and is not suffering in the way that I am suffering.
Yeah.
And so then I
And
get
it
in this
doesn't
loop
matter.
where it's like, can I fix this? Can I make this person still care
Right.
about me?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
Well, but
And
it
if
does.
you
It
would
does matter.
internalize-
It does emotionally. It has
No,
an
it
impact.
doesn't.
It does to the person emotionally, right? They can't choose to just not have that
And-
emotional feeling. That's like
well,
a
no,
whole...
you can.
And I've been
It
diagnosed with
absolutely
bipolar
can.
type 1 and I'm unmedicated.
Right, and I'm telling you, if you use these mindfulness techniques and you internalize somebody can tell you that
This guy
okay,
had a
this is
mushroom
exactly what you
trip
should do.
fucking
You should
a
stop
month
messaging
ago,
this
and now
person.
he's
You
got
should
life figured out.
just never make sure that they never message you or you never look at their messages.
I'm
It
all for
doesn't
the
solve the
psychedelics and shit,
problem
but
of your
like,
mindset
bro,
that is creating the issue, and it's never going to be solved unless you fundamentally change that mindset. So, like, it doesn't matter. And I don't think you could make an argument for why it matters. It's impossible. The only truth is nihilism.
Emotional and
it
chemical-
doesn't matter.
Emotional attachment, chemical brain
Yeah.
makeup, like
well, it
that's why it
I don't know if you would say
technically
it set
matters.
him
I
straight.
understand like what you're saying philosophically. Like,
He's
in the
talking
end,
about
none
he
of
wants
this matters. We're all
like
gonna die,
nothing
and this is all
matters.
just gonna be a distant
He
memory
tripped and
nobody's ever
figured
gonna
out that
remember.
nothing matters.
I get that. But in this moment,
can't
I
say
am
I
here,
agree.
I am conscious, I'm a human being, I have a lot of emotions, and I have a chemical imbalance in my brain. I have bipolar type 1 and ADHD. So for me, it matters, and it matters a lot.
Two things to point out here. You're not a slave to the chemistry in your brain. You can find associations
Oh, well.
between certain brain states and certain emotions, but they're not perfect associations. There are
No.
people with very low serotonin activity in their brain, which should correlate to depression, but they're massively happy. There's something about consciousness that is not necessarily a slave to some sort of chemical state in the brain. There are clearly different mindsets and attitudes that you can adopt that prevent those feelings. Secondly, I don't think you can even characterize bipolar disorder as a chemical imbalance in the brain. That could be caused by a number of things. That could be caused by poor upbringing, where you're never taught how to emotionally regulate. There could be a number of causes. And again, you're only exacerbating the problem by convincing yourself there's no way I can think any differently. There absolutely is a way for you to think differently, and it's something that you have to work on. Like, how are you benefiting yourself by, like if Destiny were to tell you, okay, well, there's no way you're ever going to get over this person. There's no way you're never going to be able to block this person. It's just your brain chemistry that's imbalanced. There's no way you can ever think differently, so you should just continue to, like, pursue this person, keep trying to make the relationship work, because there's some sort of brain chemistry that will forever link you to this person and you'll never be able to get over them. Like, is that going to help you? Or do you
what
recognize...
Destiny was saying was valid in the sense of he wasn't saying it was necessarily the person, but more so my own inner issues that I'm dealing with. It's my own denial of my own self-worth. That's the struggle. It's not necessarily the lack of the other person or what they did or didn't do. It's more so what I felt I needed for me. So it's inner. It's all about, like, it is about what my inner issues is and what I'm struggling with for my own self-value and what I feel I lacked, and that's where the issues are coming from.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's
right.
not
Wait.
about-
Okay, wait, hold on. Also, listen, if you want to talk to her afterwards about all this, you can do that. I don't know much time left, and I gotta run through my shit real quick. Okay, but then afterwards,
Yeah,
you can message
sure.
her.
If
Yeah.
you could finish reacting to the video.
I'll do that. Okay.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
take care.
Yep. Okay. All right. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. Okay. I would make a couple different assumptions. Okay. The first thing I would assume, all right, is you are a slave to the chemistry in your brain. When I say that, what I mean is that right now there are certain things that you see, and there are certain things that you like can be exposed to. There's perceptions that you can have, okay, that will induce huge emotions in your brain. Okay.
And
Anything having to do with the person you're trying
enjoy
to
the
get over, so that might
process
be
of
them
cooking, my
messaging you. It might be seeing their stream go live and you get a notification. It might be seeing somebody else bring their name up. These are things that will induce a massive emotional response in you. It always does when you're like in the process of separating from somebody. Okay. Number one, that's important to keep in mind. Okay. Do not ever bullshit yourself into thinking that you are in direct control of how you emotionally respond to things. You are not. That is a delusion. And if you think that, you will never, ever, 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 ever get better at ever emotionally regulating yourself ever. Humans cannot do that, okay? What you can do is you can change the way that you respond to those feelings, and you can change the way that you, or you can change your exposure to those feelings, okay? So what you should do is if you're trying to separate from somebody, okay, what you should do is one, is you should legitimately block everything and don't like have a compulsion. I don't have a compulsion. Stop responding to messages. Stop trying to justify or argue anything. Stop sending emails. Stop stalking on social media, whatever. So try to cut off as much content as you can. Okay, number one. Okay, but understand that number two, you're going to have a compulsion to do it. You're going to want to do it. Okay. Right now, when you sound like you are of a sober state of mind, you sound like you're reasonable, you sound like you do it, okay? Have a friend that you write to, have somebody that can hold you accountable, message that person and say, F me, I feel like he just went live. I think I want to go and watch and see what's going on. Or, oh, I think he's talking to some chick. I'm going to message her. Or, oh, I just saw him on Twitter. Anytime you have that feeling, either find a person that you know, they can hold you accountable, message them, and they're like, hey, okay, well, don't be a dumb bitch. Let's fucking go get drinks. Or let's play fucking Valorant. Or let's just call and chat for like 20 minutes, okay? The first week or two of this is always the hardest, okay? It only gets easier after the first week or two. It never gets worse after 2 weeks. It's never the case that somebody tells you, man, when I broke up with my partner and everything, and oh God, it was so horrible and painful after 2 weeks, and then after 3 weeks, it got real bad. No, it's always the worst right at the start when you realize that it's happened and it's over or whatever. And from there, it only gets better. But every single time you re-engage, you're resetting your emotional counter every single time. So if it's really bad for a week, and then 2 weeks, and then in the third week it's kind of better, and in the fourth week it's a little better, and then after like 6 weeks, you're like, oh, I'm gonna chat with him again or whatever. When you chat with him again, you're going back to day zero. Every single time, that is unavoidable. That only changes after you're completely over it, not in 6 weeks, not in 2 months, not when you think you've changed to a level, well, now he'll accept, but when you're like, I don't even know, the true marker, I'll tell you this, but you have to be able to not bullshit yourself when you think about this. The true marker is you should be able to say in your mind, if this person would have messaged me again and say, hey, I think I want to try again, would I immediately jump to them or would I say, I don't know, let me think about it? Until you can honestly answer in the latter, you're not ready to re-engage with this person, okay? So that's the first thing, okay? Is understand, that you are gonna have stupid, crazy emotional responses to things. You can't control it. Don't bullshit yourself into thinking it. Find a friend to hold you accountable, okay? Message that friend when you have those things and don't act on those compulsions. Every single time you act on the compulsion, you're resetting yourself to day zero and you're gonna loop this over and over and over and over and over again, okay? And what you have to do also, okay, is you right now, okay, you have to write this down right now to do it, okay? Because when you are in a certain emotional state of mind, you can bullshit yourself into literally fucking anything, okay? No matter what, if you don't have a plan prior to a certain emotional state, you will tell yourself lies to convince you that it's okay. I can just watch this one stream. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm not even paying attention right now. I've got something else going on in the background. I can message this person. Like, we've got mutual friends anyway. It's fine. Like, you will always find reasons to bullshit yourself, to do the thing that you want to do for other reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, okay? So, and then the final thing I would recommend, okay, is if you f up, okay, every time you f up, write down how you feel after you f up. And anytime you successfully avert giving into one of those compulsions, write down how you feel after a compulsion. Because if you don't have a friend that you can message, or if you don't have somebody to hold you accountable, sometimes it's nice to open like a notepad on your computer and you're like, fuck, I really want to look. Okay, well, the last 10 times I messaged this guy or did this, I can see that every single fucking time afterwards for the next like 3 days, I'm a fucking mess. And here I've got on this notepad, every single time I went out for drinks, I hung out with a friend, I played a video game, I watched a movie, on all of these, on every single one, I felt better afterwards. Because I'm telling you, you will. Every single time. It might not emotionally feel that way, but that is what will happen. Every single time, there is never, ever, ever in the history of all of relationships has somebody said, yeah, when I started to get over that person, there was one time where like their thing popped up and I wanted to check their post and I didn't end up checking their post and I watched a movie instead. And afterwards, I realized like, I should have been obsessing over my ex instead. So that will never, ever, ever happen to you, okay? Those are the things that I would, that's what I would say. You either implement these or you don't. If you don't, you will loop and lap this, and you will be 45 years old, and you will have the exact same problem, and you'll cry because you haven't fixed it, and this will continue to happen forever. That's, at the end of the day, you're the only one that can make the decision, but you have to like implement the tools. You have to do the tools, okay? Because your brain is retarded. All of life, the smartest people on the planet, okay? The only reason why they're smarter than other people is because they are aware of how horrible their mind is, okay? And all they've done is they spent all this time in the world putting themselves in the right environments, giving themselves the right people to bounce ideas after, and building the right cognitive toolset to counter the absolute distortions that your mind will create when you want emotionally a particular thing, okay? Don't trust yourself, don't trust your brain. Figure out tools, write shit down, find a friend to hold you accountable, and write down your emotions after all these things to try to remind yourself, okay? That's what I recommend, all right?
Thank you, Destiny.
Good luck. Also, if that doesn't work,
It.
try nihilism, okay? Good luck.
Yeah. I will try nihilism if it doesn't work. Thanks, Destiny.
Good luck. Validating these feelings are the only way to progress there. You did well. Big D, more of that. I'm gonna big D, yo mama. The quick thing. I think that was the Gaza Media Office, not the Health Ministry. The Gaza Media Office was relying on like sketchy media reports, but I think the Gaza Health Ministry will still rely on reports from family members. Not that that's bad, by the way. Please don't misunderstand that I'm saying that like that's a horrible way to do it. And in times of war, especially when a lot of your hospital infrastructure shut down, that's a totally acceptable way of trying to think of like, okay, well, these people are missing, they could be dead. Like you don't have like a body and everything. That's not the worst thing ever. But what was I saying? Oh, validating emotions. It's okay to feel a response to something. Even if you made mistakes and you fucked up and you're doing the bad actions, it's okay to take a moment sometimes and like accept the fact that it's okay to feel a particular way, right? Let's say that how to say this? Let's say that you stole from like a store, you stole $1,000, you got caught, you got arrested, and you go to prison, and there's like some emotional issue here where you're like, so stupid, like I can't even be mad, like my life, blah blah blah. Sometimes, depending on the blocks you have, it's okay to sit down for a moment and be like, you know what, I did up, I am in prison, you know, I've got a criminal record, whatever the fuck, but like it's okay to feel horrible about that. It's okay to feel like it's okay to sit with the feeling for a little bit. Just don't get mind because so many, especially women with psychology terms, I'm not even referring to Xenia here, just in general, women have taken psychology terms, and now it's like validating feelings becomes synonymous with justifying your actions, and those two things are worlds apart. Validating an emotion just means that it's okay as a human being if you have an emotional response to something, you don't have to judge yourself for the emotion. You can judge yourself for your actions, okay? If your wife wakes you up in the middle of the night over some autistic, retarded shit, okay, it's okay to feel upset. It's not okay to beat the shit out of her, all right? Depending on what she woke you up for, right? So validate your feelings. Don't confuse validating your feelings with justifying your actions, which a lot of people do, okay? And then the reason why you validate a feeling and you understand why it's okay to feel a particular way is because then you can move on to changing the environment so that you have different feelings because now you have different stimuli, okay? Don't ever mind yourself into thinking that you can think your way out of an emotional problem. If you could think your way out of an emotional problem, you wouldn't have had the emotional problem to begin with, and you would not be a human being. You would be a robot. It doesn't work that way.
So you're not smart enough to know what normalization means?
Remember, if you could think your way out of emotional problems, we wouldn't have emotions. We would just have thoughts, right? Emotions serve as a shortcut. Not even a shortcut. Emotions work at a much more baser fundamental thing, and these things are driven by hormones and other physiological factors that are sometimes outside your control. Like, yeah, don't mind yourself into that. What did he call him? Wiegand? Is that what he called him? Wants us to watch
Wiegand
this.
veins. Geegan veins.
Two? Are babies indoctrinated into Hamas? Do they have a choice? Fuck same.
So, again, if you look at... So, like I was saying, if you're going to claim they're indiscriminately bombing, we can actually look at...
Show you why. I'm about to back that claim because you're going to see rubble.
Okay, can you let me talk, please?
Go for it, buddy.
So, if you're going to claim they're indiscriminately bombing, we can cross-reference this with other data of indiscriminate bombings. And
right,
we
dude,
can look at civilian to fighter casualty ratios.
No, let's do the math, bro. Let's do the math. Let's take a look.
You can look at civilian to fighter casualty ratios. So Dresden bombing, for instance, Hiroshima. You see civilian to fighter casualty ratios that are around 1 or below 1 in terms of risk ratio. So basically, for every like 99 civilians, like 1 fighter's killed. That's what you tend to see with indiscriminate bombing. When you look at the civilian to fighter casualty ratio,
would you say? Oh, I agree. Okay. Would you tend to say that you also see with indiscriminate bombing, undue and complete destruction of infrastructure over a wide area? Would you say that's also an attribute that you would say applies to indiscriminate?
What is your takeaway from people being able to delude themselves into believing that they have a strong grasp on an issue? Well, it's funny because we ran to so many different places in that conversation, but one of the first things that we were going to go over was, I believe that the 2 big problems for the media, one is that issues are legitimately becoming more complicated, but 2 is that people are legitimately becoming less, it feels like less educated or less knowledgeable on things because of how we find information on the internet. Something that I would really like to know, because we can look at history through rose-tinted glasses. I'm curious. Okay, here's what I'm really curious about. Okay.
Now
Were these videos consumed by ordinary working class Americans, or were these meant for like the upper class intellectual elite? Because like I've seen like old videos like this in 1937. It's explaining a differential, which is a fascinating piece of engineering in terms of how like gears plug into each other that allow what would seem like a simple operation that is actually really complicated, but then is actually solved very elegantly. Like there are these old black and white videos that explain things like these, and they explain these concepts really well. They don't treat you like a fucking retard. They do a really good job at like very simply breaking down the process, and they go step by step to construct like our modern understanding of like how a differential works. I'm curious if like ordinary people consumed stuff like this and had like some kind of understanding, or maybe maybe I'm deluding myself and these things were just like consumed by super educated people or something. I don't know. I think another thing that an emailer brought up once, and I've talked to people about this, is I like this concept he brought up. He called it the magic box. And I think I agree with that as well. That, have I ever read this email on stream, or have I only spoken about it? Basically, the idea is that back in the day, so like for instance, if you drive a manual car, you probably have a slightly better understanding of how a car works than if you drive an automatic car. Not like a hugely different understanding, but like if I were to try to explain like, oh, like what's the difference between like your transmission, or like if I were to bring up like, here's a powertrain and here's a drivetrain, and can you explain like how a transmission gets power from the powertrain to the drivetrain? If you drive a manual car, you can probably like put it together in your brain. Like, okay, well, when I'm driving my car and I spin the fucking engine and I see the RPMs go up and I have first gear, second gear, the gears get smaller to bigger. Yeah, okay. You basically are using gears to take the spin from the powertrain, and then somehow that's plugging into the wheels. I don't know how it sounds, right? And you're like, oh, okay, sure. But if I were to ask somebody who drives an automatic car that, right, can you explain like drivetrain, powertrain, and like transmission? How's the transmission connected to an automatic driver? I don't fucking know. I push the gas and the car goes. I don't fucking know, right? That as your technology becomes more and more and more abstracted and stuff becomes more complicated, rather than being a person who is operating things where you like kind of have, you got like some understanding of like what's going on in the device you operate, you're truly operating magic boxes. You have no fucking idea, right? Like I imagine that early automobile drivers, like it's weird. Early automobile drivers, my guess would be, probably intuitively understood more principles of engineering and automobile operation than modern drivers, right? Just because a modern driver, I was gonna say you get in, you turn the key, you don't even turn the key, you get in the car, you push the button, and you push the gas and it just goes, it just works. Whereas for old cars, I'm sure, I even mentioned even mentioning manual, I don't even know if there were clutches on old cars. I think you just had to fucking shift like at the right RPM, and it was just it was a whole ordeal, you know? I think there was just so much going on in older automobiles in terms of like how to operate them. But let me check actually, I'm not sure. Did the first automobiles have clutches? The first clutch was introduced in the 1920s, revolutionizing the way cars operated. Prior to clutches, cars used a direct drive system which made it difficult to start and stop the vehicle smoothly. The introduction of clutches allowed for smoother gear changes and improved driving experience. I don't remember how they did it, but it was like just even changing gears in a car was just unbelievably complicatedly fucking annoying. But I think even these first clutches might have been annoying as well. Yeah, I don't know. You could argue that people who specialize in different areas now, as I think young people are much more tech literate. Yeah, but there's a couple issues at hand now, though, right? The first issue is that now you have less, descriptively, you have less of an understanding of how things in the world work. Okay, descriptively, that's what's going on. So this leads to a couple problems. The first problem is you're more likely to assume a conspiracy. If I can't explain how a thing works, right, then I probably assume it's easier for me to read a conspiracy into things, right? Like a lot of people I think even still to today, most people believe that your phone is listening to you and modifying your search engine results off of hearing you speak about things. I think most consumers today believe that's true. There's no evidence for this ever. There's never been presented evidence of this ever being the case, but most people believe it. But why wouldn't you? You don't look at the telemetry of your fucking phone. You have no idea what the fuck it's actually doing. You have no clue, right? So yeah, sure. Why the fuck would it? Seems like it would. They'd make money doing it, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah, so like as the technology becomes more abstracted, it's easier to read more conspiracies into things. And then also, I think you get a general lack of understanding in the world that also carries over to a ton of other like negative things as well. Like you might not understand, like if you don't understand how a particular thing is made, maybe you don't have an understanding of how it might like impact the environment, you know? This is kind of true of all technology though, right? Like the generation after farming was industrialized, had no idea how vegetables were actually grown. Yeah, it's true of all things. I'm just saying that as it becomes more and more and more abstracted, it becomes harder and harder for people to understand it. You can read more conspiracies into things. It's harder to regulate things. Yeah. The short film of the differential was made by the Jam Handy organization, which was tasked with making training films for the auto industry. Okay. We will watch the end of this because Vegan Games wants us to.
Care about building so much. I care more about people.
They have people in them, dumb. They have people in them.
And Hamas also uses buildings. So did the Nazis.
I forgot. That's where they're forging aluminum. You're right.
So
weird.
So
you're a
if
weirdo.
so,
you care more about chicken and my
can
chicken
you
coop.
can you let me finish, please?
I think you have finished, but you can go.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm out finished, but you can go.
So if we look at the civilian to fighter casualty ratios with the Israel invasion of Gaza, you're seeing risk ratios between 26 to about 47. That is well outside.
Why are we?
Do you know the difference,
I think you just wanted to watch this guy explode.
And normalized?
What do you mean by that?
Well, these numbers, you're going to tell me that the civilian death counts, by the way, that Israel is giving you, by the way, without digging up the people that are under 17 tons of rubble that won't be found for months, right? But we're trusting those Israeli numbers, right? So that's what I'm asking you.
So
what is the hold on, let me finish. What is the difference between normal numbers of civilian casualties in a conflict like this and normalized numbers? Can you tell me the distinction?
I don't know what you mean by normalized.
Oh, by the way,
Bet.
a big prediction. A lot of people are saying, like, I think I've even said this actually, I thought about this more. After the war ends, the casualty and the death rates are probably going to rise quite a bit because you're going to be digging people out of the rubble. My guess is actually after the conflict ends, the casualty numbers are either going to stay the same or probably fall because right now,
I'll definitely start
Health and Health Ministry
thinking about what I want to do with that.
Media and missing persons reports to fill out like the number of dead.
Thank you for asking me, bro.
Missing, and they have big families over there. People are probably going to report it, and those are going to be like showing up in the casualty numbers. But if those people start showing up at the end or whatever, like the casualty numbers will stay the same because they won't change them or they'll fall. That'd be my guess. But I don't believe that there are all these thousands of people buried under the rubble that aren't being reported because the families will be reporting them missing. Would be my guess here. But
we'll see how it goes.
Do your dailies. I'm working on it. Okay. Get yourself into that.
I don't know what you mean by normalized.
So you're not smart. You're not smart enough to know what normalization means. You're a pretty smart guy. Sounds like a word you must have heard.
I just want to understand the proposition you're making.
Just on Israel, you don't know what I mean when I say the plain English word normalized? Just on Israel.
I have no idea what normalization of casualties means. Normalization? I hope he's not going to say, like, if we count, like, rate by month or something. I don't know.
Oh, if I said it was normalized, I bet if I'd said earlier, it's normalized to rape cows, you'd have been like, yep, you know what normalized meant then. But for some reason, we're talking IP and vegan games.
Oh, normalized. Oh, like a behavior is made normal. Normalized is such a general word that I feel like that could mean anything. It could have had like a particular statistical interpretation, but okay.
Doesn't know what normalized means. You want to look it up yourself so we can move on, or you want to keep dithering about a word that you've used a million times?
Like what's the proposition?
The proposition is, what is the difference between you giving me a number and going, look, 17,000 casualties per square foot or whatever is normal for this type of fucking thing. It doesn't indicate, according to this, and this, indiscriminate bombing. I asked you to distinguish between normal and normalized because I don't think there's anything normal about baby parks being blown all over the fucking city and the rubble and the destruction.
That probably is an incredibly normal thing in like military conflict. I'm sure children, babies, civilians, women, dogs, like people probably get blown up all the time. That's actually probably an incredibly normal part of military conflict, but
And
unfortunately.
the fucking bombing of people and nuking of people and all the shit that goes on in war, bro. All of it.
Okay,
All
well,
of it.
the
You know,
proposition you made was that Israel is indiscriminately bombing.
I'm going to talk to you as a vegan. You called what was going on with cows a Holocaust earlier.
Yes.
Is there a Palestinian Holocaust happening right
no,
now?
there's not.
Bye.
There's a Hamas
Bye.
Holocaust.
Bye.
So
Weirdo.
I thought you wanted to have a
Bye.
discussion on this. Okay, I guess we're done.
Jesus.
Okay, I figured. All right, well, the point I was going to make that he didn't allow me to make was that if he's going to claim Israel is indiscriminately bombing, then we can cross-reference that.
Well, he got him.
Based on your insecurities, right?
Well,
Which is
hold
like-
on. I don't know if it's fair to frame
So this,
everything Dan is saying. as
listen to this
insecurities
little.
now.
No,
It's
that's
literally
I would suggest everybody follow this. So you're
I feel
setting
like this
yourself
is
up
a
for
cello.
Just a nightmare. If you're on Tinder, the goal is usually to get like an IG or a.
Do you want something minimal like that?
Wait a second, hold up.
What?
Here's another part.
I think Destiny. I think you should call out Kyla.
About what? Which thing?
Well, earlier she said that.
But this is just like
Dan,
a
if we're gonna do this on camera,
like almost
yeah.
a
do you have any more
little
of that dye
ditty.
left for your beard, or?
That's funny. Do you have any more height? You know, I can dye my beard. You can't f***ing do anything about your height, boy. Hold on, we're shaving.
But, like,
I'm getting too many white haircuts.
I've always really liked that little. I'm gonna bring
We're
it back.
shaving.
The
it's based on your insecurities, right?
Well,
Which is
hold
like-
on. I don't know if it's fair to frame everything Dan is saying as insecurities. No.
No,
It's
that's
literally.
I would suggest everybody follow this.
Yeah.
So you're setting yourself up for just
But
a nightmare.
if I started out with
Tinder,
something like
the
that
goal is
and then
usually
sort
to
of
get,
built
like,
on
an
it,
IG or a number as soon as possible, so you can have these conversations in person. But,
Wait
like,
a second, hold up.
What?
Here's another part.
because
think
that's
Destiny, I think you should call
super
out
minimal,
Kyla.
but it's actually
About
really
what?
catchy too.
Well, earlier she said that her and her partner.
But
Dan,
you
if we're
couldn't
gonna do
play
this
that for,
on
like,
camera.
Yeah.
Do you have any more of that dye
8
left
or
for your
10
beard,
minutes at the
or-
start of a stream. That would
That's funny.
you would have
Do you
to
any
build
more
on that.
height? You know, I
Give
can
it
dye my beard.
couple
you
of
can't f***ing
dynamic
do anything about
changes.
your height, boy. Hold on, we're shaving. I'm getting too many white hair comments.
No. Now, Dan, you're good.
Oh no. Did you? Oh no.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I
Sure,
wouldn't
that's
like
anything. That was
I wouldn't
my bad.
copy that.
Dan, you
I'm
look
definitely gonna come up with
distinguished.
something original.
Is that a compliment for a man?
I know.
All right, just a little bit of a trim, so I'm not quite as old. Now I'm more youthful speaking.
Okay.
All right, we have two themes. Dan, has Steven told you the themes yet?
Yeah. Do you know what our two
No,
themes
why would I be told the themes? It's not like I literally came up with the show, but that
right.
you know what? Just go ahead and
well,
fill
the
me in
thing
now.
is that like Dan knows so much about everything. I figured like does he even
Convenient
need to be
thing
filled
is-
in? It's
That
just
is
Dan.
true.
I think
you know,
I
that's
can
true.
keep-
That's,
Yeah.
I'll allow it. So what is the themes you guys?
What
are
are the two themes we
I
got
think I
for
can
this one?
keep the
The two themes we
video
have
going
was
while I go
cheating
pee.
and losing
the
interest during
bathroom's right here,
relationships,
too.
which you can see that these two things would be linked as well, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. and I figure I can bring in the
feel like
perspective from long-term relationships, and Dan can bring in the perspective from cheating. I'm just kidding.
Why? No,
Damn.
I don't
just
know
kidding. I'm
what
just kidding. I'm
is
just
getting
kidding.
into you today.
I'm just kidding. It's not about
You
what's
okay?
getting into me. It's about who you're getting into, Dan. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Stop.
Holy- Is cheating bad? Let's start at the basics.
Do you think it's bad?
I think that
Wait.
if you what?
Let's define cheating first, so people know what we're talking about. That's a good thing.
We're really backing up.
Yeah. I would say cheating is when you engage in infidelity in a relationship, when you break some sort of like relationship promise related to generally how you interact with other people that are like the opposite sex, or I guess it could be the same if you're bisexual generally. So there could be like emotional cheating or like physical cheating or
Yeah, I was gonna go try and one up you there. I was gonna say cheating is anything when you start interacting with another person and you start feeling romantically about them and you keep going back. But obviously, you know, you can just fuck someone and that's cheating.
Yeah.
But I think other things are also cheating. Like if you really start liking your neighbor and you hang out with them all the time. What are you laughing at? What's so fucking funny? Huh? Get a fucking hold of yourself.
I am. Hold on.
God, you're such a child. Okay, we're here doing a serious.
No.
fucking channel.
Keep.
I lost track. Just go. What do you want, Snake Woman? Say what it is.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're
Hold
a
on,
man.
I really am crying. Okay, I just every time I talk to Dan on the show, I can only think of this guy called Tony W, and it just fucks my head so hard. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Can I vibe off that for 1 second?
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Because Dan said something that's really important. That I think is true on that.
The cool thing is I'll probably build it off of
It was like a shit joke that was coming up.
an
in here.
electronic beat, something
Hold on, it was true.
Oh yeah, that's true. With your
something
mom.
minimal
Okay,
as far as the
unless
beat's
you are a
concerned.
celebrity
But if you build it off an
a woman,
electronic beat,
generally
it
cheating
should
takes,
be
like,
able
a lot of
to, if you
deliberation.
put it on
Even
repeat,
for women generally, you have to
it
go
should
through
be
a
able
lot
to
of stuff cheat.
seamlessly restart.
And the thing that Dan said is that, like, sometimes people will make it sound like cheating was an accident, like, oh, I started to catch feelings for somebody and we started talking more, blah, 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 blah. But it's important to recognize at the beginning of that, like, kindling of something romantic that you have the opportunity to cut that off. And if you don't, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're fucking yourself really hard. I don't think it's cheating to fall for somebody or to get a crush on somebody or whatever. But if you start to pursue that, you're continually re-engaged. It's probably not something good. Yeah.
Yeah, I would basically like label cheating as basically like I feel like in relationships you establish some level of contract, like even if it's not like verbally expressly like signed off of like this is what we view cheating, you talk about it enough that you broadly know what your partner views as cheating.
Yeah, I want to conservatively say,
with your partner
give
what is
me
conceived of as cheating, because for some
give me
people it's
5
as simple
days
as
to give
porn,
you
right? Whereas for other people it's going to be
a
exclusively
rough
more like
one
when you're
shot.
establishing a new relationship and whatnot. But then you get into poly relationships and that doesn't count. So it's like in any way where you've broken the contract.
I know
of
you're
what
not
you
being
both
like
agreed on
impatient or
isn't allowed
anything,
with
but
other
like
people. So
I'm
that's
just gonna
in monogamy. Usually
I'm gonna
some
set
form of, like,
myself
sexual and
a
romantic
tentative deadline.
relationship. In a poly relationship, it's going to be more complex, and then it has to be, I think, explicitly negotiated.
Yeah, I feel like also that thing you said, I think you should, this is going to sound really cringe, but I'm probably going to say this a lot for every piece of advice that I give on the show ever, and it's always said on every forum, but it's like so true. Communication is something that needs to happen. A lot of people try to exist in the gray zones, where they know their partner's probably not comfortable with something, but if they don't say anything about it, they think it's okay. I think there was a big Reddit post, I think we read this like a day or two ago, where like a wife found out that her husband had like a I don't want to say a work wife, but he had like a girl at work that he was like pretty close to, that he talked to all the time and shit. And sometimes partners can get uncomfortable if you have like just other girls or guys that you're really close to that you aren't dating, because they feel like it's a propensity to cheat, or that you already have, or that you're hiding something. So it's always good to like iron that out beforehand, like what's okay. Actually, on that, I'm kind of curious. Are you okay, Dan? Would you be okay with your wife having like a really close guy friend? And then Erudite, would you be okay, or Kyla, would you be okay with your husband having a really close girlfriend? Or friend, girl. Sorry, yeah, go.
So, I think no is probably how I'd be okay with it, or is I wouldn't. And I try to feel the same way as how would she feel if I was like some girl that I was hanging around with. I guess a lot of it also depends on if they like have feelings romantically for each other. Like I think there's a difference if you have a coworker you just spend all fucking day with constantly, and like you're friends and that's fine, but you don't think about that person romantically. Like, so a good example of this would be if my wife was hanging out with some guy all day because of work or whatever, but I knew that she was not attracted to this guy in any way, both emotionally or physically. Like, let's just say that this is like a Boba the Fett looking motherfucker, right? I have nothing to worry about. Then I don't think I would have a problem with it unless I felt like the guy was going to start fucking doing whispers in her ear, trying to like fuck with our relationship a little bit. So that's kind of how I look at it, is like when anything that I would do or wouldn't do, I'd be like, would she be okay with it, and vice versa. And you know, that's how it is. And it's not like not Boba Fett. Just Jabba the Hutt.
Got him.
I was wondering who that was.
Just shut the fuck up.
I was gonna ask. I didn't know Boba Fett was ugly or not, but I've never seen Under the Mask. I didn't watch The Mandalorian, so.
First off, he was ugly. Okay, just to be clear,
Okay.
that was an ugly dude. But Jabba the Hutt is what I meant in that situation. Okay.
Okay. Wait, hold on. I'm curious on that, because I've seen this come up. Actually, wait, Kyla, you answer first. Go.
Yeah, so I think there's a difference between where I would like my relationship to get to and where I am. And I think it's actually really important that people acknowledge the gap between these two things and negotiate that gap as well with their partner. So I think I would like to get to the place where I would be completely comfortable with my husband having a really close female friend. The issue is that I'd probably want to be friends with her to some extent as well, because it would garner like mutual trust between all three parties. However, I'm also realistic that right now I'm probably not fully there. Like, I don't think I'm fully at a place where I'd be 100% comfortable with it, which is unfortunate because I actually think it fundamentally comes down to trust. And I think he's at that place. Like, he'd be totally fine with it. I think he's very much of the view of like, well, if I do cheat, then now he knows that he's got like an unloyal wife, and he's, you know, he'd rather dodge the bullet sooner than later. Whereas I think that I have like more issues in that. Is that just a bee? I think we have a bee infestation in our basement.
Well, if you only have one bee, that's not too bad.
Well, we've had like 6 now in the basement that have died, so.
Is 6 infested? I feel like you need like 20 to 30 to count as an infestation.
That's fair, but why do we have so many dead bees in our basement? I don't know.
True.
Anyway, sorry to derail. So yeah, I think that there's like this gap between these two things, and it's something that we're both working on. And like, as I've gotten a better sense of self-security, I've been way more comfortable with like any form of relationship, which fundamentally is an issue because that means that it's like my insecurities are like creating some like ceiling for his experiences.
What's your guy? Wait. I'm just so curious. Hold on, I have a lot of questions about this. Here's a question. You have a significant other, you start dating, you get married or whatever. You find out that they have a really close work friend of the opposite sex. Are you ever at a point where you like force them to not be friends with them or to like change departments or?
No, I think the moment you give ultimatums with like, it's me or them, it feels really unhealthy, at least like in my relationships. I really am not comfortable being like, you can't, especially if there's no reason to, right?
Well, to be clear, some ultimatums are okay, right? Like, if you hit me, I'm going to leave you. Like, I think it's okay to have some ultimatums.
Right,
sure.
Right. But that's I would argue that's more of a boundary, right? Because the ultimatum in this case would be basically like, I feel insecure about your relationship with this other person, even though at this point, especially, let's assume best case scenario, there is no cheating going on and there never will be. I'm just feeling insecure about it. It seems really wrong for me to make this big ask. I can, and my partner can choose to acknowledge that and like give me that ask if they so value our relationship, I guess, enough. But I do think it's unfortunately like it's a compromise that's kind of shitty for the person who's being asked.
Stellar Blade. Yeah, I did that.
Really
I beat it on stream. I'm pretty sure I beat.
No, I don't feel the same at all. I
hard
think that's
difficulty.
not the case. Like,
it was tough. It got
like
easier as it went, though.
Meets like timing or effort
this
or
game
something.
I was playing
and
like
what
at the beginning of the year.
The fuck up? What is wrong with you?
And
you know what?
yeah, I had it on like
opportunity.
I started replaying it. I had it on like
but yeah, go ahead.
The highest difficulty,
Doesn't
and
matter.
You're going though. It's a good point. Make it.
That was tough.
Okay. The whole point is I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I got the
You're
platinum
a
in Stellar
mess,
Blade.
Dude. You're a disaster.
Okay,
this is a serious
that was the last
show.
one. That was the last one. That was the last one.
I don't believe you, but that's
okay.
fine.
You
All
were
right.
saying cheating is the opportunity
plus incentive or risk or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I would not want to put myself or my wife into a situation where you could easily stumble into that. Like, walking along the train tracks is fine. You know, most people aren't going to get hit by a train, but you're certainly more fucking likely to have that happen. And I think that if you have, and also you're only putting one person's, I guess, motives and realities of what's happening.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you think about like, oh, I don't want to force
That's
this
a
on my
fact.
wife or my husband.
I remember
You're not
that.
talking about the other person, what their motives are. And if their motives is to sleep with your significant other or fuck them over, or not fuck them over, but to fuck them, like, their intentions are going to be to like to weaken your relationship as much as possible. So they're going to be fucking constantly, you know, whispering bad things into your partner's ear, saying like, you know, he doesn't treat you well and everything else, even if that's not the case. So I think that you can't know what's going to happen in that situation. So I think we just try to typically avoid it. What we do is we have
He said
a couple friends. We have a lot of people that are friends that are married, and even though there's still some sort of a risk that can happen at it, I think that it's mitigated enough, and you can't expect, you know, your spouse to go through life having no friends at all. And I think this is a good way that when you're, you know, you essentially couple friends is the solution there. But yeah, to be clear, I wouldn't be comfortable if I thought there was a really close work or personal relationship with the other sex Unless, like, I gave the example earlier of Jabba the Hutt. But even in that situation, how much damage can someone like that fucking do if Jabba the Hutt really wants to fuck your wife really bad? Like, he can be like, hey, listen, you know, I don't want to be with you, but he really treats you bad, and, you know, I'll always be here. Like, that's fucking dangerous shit as well. So that's all.
I think it's actually really important to acknowledge that, like, there is more risk. I do think couples can negotiate it and navigate it, but I also think as a couple, if you're like, we just don't even want to fuck with that, you can. I just think we have to like give the gravity to the ass that we're giving there. But at like a public, like really general standpoint, I agree that like you are just inherently increasing the risk. The issue is, what if you have a partner who's like, I promise you, like, this isn't going to happen, and I would hope that you could trust me enough. Like, how do you navigate this when the partner's like, I'm not just gonna like leave? Like, what if it's their dream job, dream department, they just have a really good relationship? What if that friend is willing to be friends with you too, and they're like, are you seriously gonna ask me this? So it's really hard to give like a broad stroke answer for like if they're working with somebody beforehand, because there's so many complicating factors that go into it that might make it okay and also might make it really not okay.
I think the best is to go with your gut, honestly. Like, if you genuinely feel like this guy has no, like, maybe he's fucking in a long-term marriage and he has fucking 6 kids, and, you know, he's racist against like Jewish people or something. I don't fucking know. Like, maybe in some of those situations you can make something work and feel comfortable with it, but it's completely based on your gut every time. I don't think there is a standing rule like, you know, as long as it's less than 20 hours a week, it's okay or something. You literally gotta feel the motherfucker out and be like, yo, you know, what's the deal, homie?
I think people gave him a lot of shit for this, but I think for traditional monogamous relationships, are you guys aware of the Pence rule?
He just doesn't deal with bitches at all.
He will not
is alone with them, right?
He won't eat meals alone with them, and he doesn't go to events featuring alcohol with women without his wife there. I think that's actually an okay boilerplate rule. Like,
isn't this the ninja rule?
I don't know, maybe. But I think that something that Dan says it's kind of true is that, like, when we think about cheating, sometimes we only think about it from the perspective of our partner, which ultimately it's their decision to cheat. But if you continually put them in highly compromising situations, that can get rough. Like if the other person is pushing for things, you know, like the best case scenario is you think like, well, would my partner cheat on me? And hopefully the answers are like, well, of course they wouldn't. No, obviously they wouldn't. But if the question becomes, if your partner had another woman that he was close to throwing herself at him, would he cheat on me then? That can be like a more difficult question to answer. And now you're kind of like holding the relationship kind of at the whim of the other person, the would-be seductress or seductor, which I think can be pretty nerve-wracking or make for discomfort. I think what Kyla said about everybody being friends is probably helpful too. Anytime you've kind of incorporated that third party into the kind of the relationship wholesale so that both people everybody knows each other, probably makes things a little bit easier as well. And then you can also feel out vibes too, because like if the friend of your significant other is like constantly shit talking you or is being like really catty or kind of like rude or whatever, you can kind of pick up there where it's like, oh, this doesn't seem like it's okay, you know?
Yeah, I think in any monogamous situation, you would have to be soft friends at least with this person, like the opposite partner. So like if it's my husband, I would need to be at least friends and like know this individual enough that I would feel comfortable talking to them so that I can at least like suss them out a little bit. Here's one question though, because Dan said go with your gut, and I think that's a pretty good piece of advice for people who have pretty good gut feelings. What if your gut is consistently wrong? Like what if you have like high levels of anxiety and insecurity, and so like your gut feelings are
that's the Costanza
really
that's the Costanza rule. Then you just do that, and then you just do the opposite of whatever you think you should do in that situation, and then that's how you solve that. If that's the case where your gut is always wrong, you just do the opposite.
Well, okay, that's not reasonable because you're gonna feel like shit the entire time, right?
I mean, what
they really
you're saying
do.
If your gut is wrong every time, and there's some like fucking Brad Pitt motherfucker hanging out with your wife, and you're like, oh, this is awesome, I'm gonna go to the movies, what could go wrong? You need to be like, oh, wait a second, I should do the opposite of what I normally think here in that case. But I mean, I don't know whose gut ever does them that bad.
Well, people with like anxiety and stuff like that.
Their guts they're always catastrophizing.
If you have
this person hates me, and they're completely wrong.
I feel like if you're having these types of anxiety problems, I think this is something that you address in therapy, because chances are if you're this anxious here, this anxiety is probably following you to other parts of your relationship, and you're going to self-sabotage, I would think.
Yeah. And so like doing the opposite of your gut in that situation, this is where like when people are like trying to tease apart like relationship stuff and they like have high levels of insecurity, which I think in these types of situations, if you're insecure, it's going to bring these out the worst. And it's like there's nothing worse in my mind than to like basically like make your partner constantly responsible for managing and mitigating your anxiety and your insecurities, because that creates like such a discrepancy and so much resentment. Like it's hard not to
Erudite's
resent
smart,
somebody
I'm not
who
gonna lie.
controls your life based on like essentially fictitious worries about things that are never going to happen, right? But when you go the opposite, sometimes this is the issue for anxious people, sometimes they're right, and that's kind of what feeds the anxiety loop, is actually that like they over prepare, over worry, but then like 1 out of 10 times they're correct, and they're like, well, I'm glad I over worried because I caught that one time and I definitely wouldn't have if I hadn't been anxious, which
He
is
does look
true.
like kind of a smarmy
And so
fuck,
it's like this
doesn't
very
he?
reinforcing. So if they do the opposite all the time, they'll A, probably go crazy, and B, they'll be wrong still a lot of the time.
I mean, if you're someone who has a ton of anxiety and then your spouse is going around and spending 30 hours a week with some other dude and like being really friendly with them, then I feel like it's kind of bitch made on the spouse to do that, knowing, because she or he probably knows damn well that you're super anxious and that you have problems with this, and they're doing it anyways. Like, I feel like the considerate thing to be like, oh, my husband's a little bit, you know, uptight and, you know, very jealous. I should probably try to avoid some of this. It's not a huge deal to me. That's fine.
Yeah, I guess you
Like
could.
as
It
the
just depends
third
on.
person, like the person outside of the relationship.
No, he's saying the significant other should
the
avoid making his
significant other.
anxious partner. Yeah, if you're willing to, I would say actually no. Here's something
Yeah,
that
me
I've
too.
seen happen over and over and over and over and over and over again. When people have mental health problems, I think sometimes you want to feel like you want to be a good person and you want to accommodate those as much as you can. And for minor ones, you can, but for major ones, I think that's going to foster a huge sense of resentment. Like I think you'll be able to deal with it for a little bit, and then I think eventually you're like, this is bullshit. There's going to be like a work trip that you want to go on. There's going to be a project you want to work on. There's going to be a new supervisor that's going to come in. Something's going to happen where there's going to be somebody that makes your partner uncomfortable, and at some point you're going to be like, I've made so many fucking
Boom.
concessions. To you. Like, you really
Flawless.
can't trust me with this person. Like, this
First
is fucking
try,
ridiculous.
didn't even
And I think
expect
that
We're
it.
talking about like a all or everything here. I think like there's some middle ground to be had there. Obviously, you can't keep your fucking spouse locked up in the fucking basement. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know, but like that's not acceptable. But I think there are some bigger things that we can do. Like if you think that your wife is spending all of her work time with someone and then going out on the evenings twice a week with this guy to hang out with his friends, that's a fucking major red flag. Be like, hey, I don't want you hanging around with this guy anymore. And if she has a problem with that, then there's probably a fucking problem, because that is too much. You know, you're a fucking married woman. Okay, you have 4 kids. This is not the shit that we do. And if this is a fucking game breaker for you, then there's bigger problems. You know what's
Hell
going
yeah.
on, because I don't think this is normal to do this type of stuff. So that's me. But I think
You
there's
don't
too
roll
much-
that way?
I feel like what we're going to run into a lot between you guys is you guys want to like push the boundaries to the maximum fucking limits, just as much as possible. Be like, oh, if this was a good relationship, you'd be okay with me fucking my neighbor. Obviously, we have some problems here.
Wait, hold
I'm
on.
like-
Who is you guys?
Both of you in this case, obviously.
Wait, hold on.
I'm-
First of all, she's in
Amber
a
only
monogamous
comes out to
relationship.
work.
No. I'm saying the take that I've gotten so far is that you guys want a relationship where you kind of let the other person, you're not restricting them, they're doing what they want to do for the most part, up until there's just this one moment. And I'm not okay with that. To me, I feel like I want to put some restrictions on, and she wants to put them on me, and that avoids a lot of shit that could happen in the meantime. And I feel the saying I was having, or the feeling I was having, is that you guys are like, no, she can go hang out with this guy 80 hours a week as long as they're not fucking and they're not romantic. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, absolutely not. That will like 90% lead to something. And I love the marriage I'm in. You know, like that's it. Like, yes, if I trusted you that much, I would let you go hang out with some fucking dude for 80 hours. But you know what? It's not about me trusting. I can't trust that motherfucker. I can't trust you. It's not about me respecting what you want to do. It's literally just about looking at the odds. 70% of the time or 80% of the time this shit happens, it's going to turn out bad for both of us. And we want to stay married. Like, if Gal Gadot knocks on my fucking door and she's like, Dan, I want to fucking slam that dick, that's going to cause a lot of shit in my fucking marriage. I'm going to be honest with you. That's like a whole, I don't want that to happen, because that will fuck my shit up so hard, right?
How do you draw the boundary between like what's reasonable then and what's unreasonable?
I think it has to be fully negotiated. So this is where I'm kind of like in between. And so like if this wasn't clear enough, that's fair. But what I really think is like you can put as many or as little restrictions on a relationship as you like. You just have to, both of you need to take responsibility for what impact that's actually going to have in your relationship. So if you want to set the line really far back because of anxiety and insecurity, I think that that is fine as long as both partners agree to it. And there's some acknowledgement of it basically being like you're asking for something based on your insecurities, right?
Well, hold on. I don't know if it's fair to frame everything Dan is saying as insecurities, no?
No,
It's
that's
literally,
fair.
it's insurance, essentially. I'm looking at it more on the, what's the name of the word? The practice of
probability
insurance?
of risk, right?
I don't think it's even.
Liability?
Yeah, it's the idea that like, given a certain environment, if you put yourself in a certain area, something could grow, and if you don't, there's just no chance of it happening. So
Sure.
like, I don't like to. Obviously, I do open relationships and I'm all of that, so I don't give a fuck. But I don't like it when other people phrase other people's desires to be more careful as just stemming from insecurity. I think it's possible you could be very secure in a relationship and you're just like, hey, for the intents and purposes of all of us just kind of like chilling, maybe we should just like have these types of rules in place just so that nothing is even potentially going to go awry or nothing is going to potentially grow. I think that's an okay thing to, I think that's an okay thing to have without it necessarily being about insecurity.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely don't want to chalk it up to the only reason you'd pump brakes is insecurity.
Sure.
I guess I was trying to give a hypothetical of like in the case, because I think a lot of times it does come to that. But what Dan is outlining is essentially like some level of insurance and protection. You're like, I'm going to mitigate certain levels of risk, right? If there's like a 70% chance that this could lead, I trust my partner, but like, everyone's human. Why would I risk a 70% chance of like something going on? Then he also talked about the 80 hour per week thing, right? And that to me is less about insecurity and a lot more about like wanting time with your partner. Like I would have an issue with Nick spending 80 hours a week with basically anyone if it was like one person all the time, and that means I have almost
Claiming
no time with Nick.
that
That would be
fame.
more of my issue that I'd be negotiating.
Sure, I
So
think
that's-
Dan didn't mean like 80 hours a week, like they're spending every week, but like they work
Give
together, so
yourself
they see each other
those
in the
props,
office like
my
all the
friend.
time. I
You
think is what
deserve
Dan was
'em.
kind of going out. Not they're like hanging out outside of work and everything too.
Yeah.
I feel like when you understand that, like, you probably feel, well, I don't know. I'll say that I feel very close to my wife. I feel like she's like one in a million to me,
Cringe.
right? But that's only one in a million. There's a lot of fucking people on the earth. You know what I mean? That means there's probably at least like 1,000 other people that are going to be better matched for me, that I'll find more attractive or something. Like this whole soulmate thing is kind of fucking nonsense, right? So there is a chance, because how many women have I actually even laid eyes on or had conversations with in my life? It's not like, a million of them, and there's so many, so you can't know. So all you can do is protect what you have and not go actively shopping for more, and on top of not shopping for more, kind of putting a brakes on that. You're not even going to the supermarket anymore, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it.
Because essentially what you're saying is like I've chosen my wife, like more or less, and like because I value that choice and that commitment
got
that I've made, I'm
drunk and
going to do
broke
certain
shit.
things to make sure that I'm protecting that choice and not making like other things being more like I don't want to have like temptations arise, because the choice matters to me, and I'm willing to basically like discard those temptations because I want to be choosing my wife regardless of the like external stuff. Am I understanding you?
Yeah, I mean, it's as he said, it's kind of like insurance, just avoiding bad situations across the board, and not out of jealousy or anything, because I think we're very close to each other, but just out of just knowledge of what happens. Like shit like this blows up, and then you're like, fuck. I bet so many people that cheat on their spouse
Make
or
'em
divorce
fuck.
as a result of that are just like, I wish I never fucking met this person. That fucked my whole world up. That in the moment I thought like this was my new soulmate and everything was going to happen. They wish they never met that person. And you can't do that. All you can do is literally, just not put yourself in that situation and see them at all.
So then how do you control like the other side of basically preventing resentment from building up if like a lot of the brakes that are getting pumped feel like maybe unfair, or like what if one partner is constantly asking for like the further back line and like they both agree to it, but
And
it
that's
seems
a fucking red flag in my opinion. So if I'm married to you and I'm like, hey, listen, I really don't want you hanging out with the guys, and you're like, I don't give a fuck who you're hanging out with. To me, what I take away from that is that you think that you're a higher market item and that you're kind of with me like out of convenience, and if we broke up you'd be fine and everything else. Like, it doesn't seem like you're, I don't want to say jealous or anxious or anything like that, but you don't really particularly care. Like, oh yeah, sure, go put yourself in that situation where you might fuck some other woman, no big deal, I trust you, it's fine. And it's like, wait, hold up, you know, there's like a 50% chance if I hang out with this bitch all the time I might like leave you, you know. It's like, oh well, you know, I trust you, it's fine. You don't really, you're not feeling that strong about me in my opinion, that way. So that's how I would say, I would hope that both people would, you know, feel the same. And if they don't, I think it is a problem.
Okay. So it's probably whatever negotiation you have here, it's probably important that both people are on the same page at the very least. We probably all agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about being like friends with like exes and stuff? Is that something that's okay, or is that a hard no? Absolutely.
It depends how many. I guess like. I'm trying
really
to think.
depends on the breakup. Like, really depends on like if they.
I don't even know
dated-
if the breakup even matters.
Well, if like think if they had like the most, like they're both like, we're just okay not being together because the entire time.
No,
they were
I'm sorry. I'm
friends.
putting my foot down. No,
Oh,
fucking.
really?
I would just thought if my fucking wife was like, oh yeah, this is one of my boyfriends before you, I'd be like, I'd be taking this motherfucker back. Yo, let me show you my iguana guns. That's what I'd be doing right there. Okay? No.
What? The
Nah.
fuck, then?
No shot. No exes allowed. Not in my house. Either way, it's too dangerous.
I
You
feel
already
like
know
what
this
Erudite
person
was saying
clicks.
is probably true, which is even Dan would admit it. You're gonna be like in that Little Dicky song where you're like super threatened by the guy and you find out that they like dated once in like 3rd grade or something for a week.
Oh no, that of course that's like stupid. But I mean, if it was like a serious relationship, you know, 5 years ago or something, that's not like this person is muy peligroso for you.
This is the hard rule that I would align with, that I would tell, I would suggest everybody follow this, so you're setting yourself up for just a nightmare. What Erudite said, the way that relationship ended is really important. If your significant other was dumped, I would never, ever, 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 ever suggest anybody let them be friends with that other person, because you don't want to feel like you're playing second string, and you don't want to feel like they're going after like the one that got away, and you don't want to feel like there's like that potentiality hanging out there. I think that would be like really mindfucky for a lot of people, and I've heard people that get like those vibes from people. The worst is actually, I think, when it's a dead ex, because then they're like constantly like mindfucked. But yeah, I think that you're setting us up for a really toxic situation if that happens.
Yeah, like if they were on and off again for like years, and every time they broke up it was super messy. Usually really messy breakups are messy because like both people still have this like really intense attraction and like probably love for each other as well, but it's really toxic and unhealthy. So they can't handle being together, and they can't handle being apart to some extent. And it's like, that's the type of ex where I'd be like, absolutely not. But to be honest, like if they were like that drawn to wanting to still be in a relationship with them, that itself would kind of be a red flag to me, because I'd be like, I don't know if you're actually over this person, if you're like, if you were on and off again for years. But if like they dated for, even if they dated for like 2 years, especially if it's been several years since then, and they just like were never super into each other, and then they just kind of like naturally faded in their own life, that to me feels like a much more like natural thing. I'd probably still have so here's the thing, I would have a lot of breaks about what that friendship specifically looks like, right? So if they wanted to be friends, I'd be like, great, they need to meet me, I need to have a decent relationship, and I'd probably say like no hanging out one-on-one
I hate
ever.
relish
Like
too,
they need to
but you
always
know
be
what I
hanging out
meant.
in some sort of like group or public setting. Like
like
certain safety breaks to
adjectives.
basically like reduce. But yeah, I would be
Actually, no, it's a
if
noun
it was
in that
like that
situation.
calm of a breakup. You don't have those calm of breakups if you don't
With pleasure.
like your feelings aren't there. Like
basically.
if you just are like, okay, we're cool just being apart, they probably never should have been together in the first place at that point.
Maybe, yeah. I think that the way the breakup happens is really important, and then the type of contact they have too. Like if people are like, oh my god, this is my girlfriend, and you know we broke up a year or two ago, and we were on and off for like 4 years. Like, I'm gonna meet them for coffee. That's probably like not a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. If they like chat occasionally, like on fucking Facebook chat or some shit to catch up a little bit, that's probably okay. But like, yeah. But also like if it's like an old girlfriend from like high school, and they're like the other person's like married now, it's probably not as big of a deal. But that's probably also something you'd have to feel out a little bit to see what's going on. Yeah.
Very frisky. Very frisky.
Yeah, you're definitely playing with fire.
Oh,
when it
you're
comes to shit
fucking
like that.
100. You
You're
guys are like, oh yeah,
super-
you know, if you want to play with some matches inside, or just move the papers around, make sure. Fuck that. Ain't no matches in this house. You gotta fucking go out in the middle of the ocean with a fucking goddamn coliseum of people watching you to make sure you're not gonna do any flirting. Like even then, I'm not a fan of it. No. So this is like that. To me, that's like all the danger signs. You have all the danger signs of like doing it with a work person, but these people before you knew that they were already a match for each other. That's just no. Not for me. Nah.
I don't know if they were though. Like, it's how many like people each other and aren't really a match for each other all the time, especially like when you have like these young relationships. Like, so many people will get into a relationship when they're really young because they just like think that that's what you're supposed to do, and then they maintain it for like 2 years because they're both kind of like passive and a little bit AFK, and it's like not really a thing.
All right.
I agree why there's
Oh,
flags,
you're
but
good.
here's the thing: I wouldn't be willing to just say no. I'd be willing to negotiate it with my partner unless it was a
Gays
situation like I
definitely
said where it was
enjoy
like a
being
super
silly.
messy breakup, super on and off. That
don't know
type
that
of situation I would just never.
So you got to look
say
at
that
this
it's like
Associate.
any more than
statistics.
straights.
Again.
I guess
right?
straights are more like
I already said I'm not letting my
It's
wife
called
hang out with some
straight-laced for a
random dude I know
reason.
nothing about that just happens to be at work with him. Okay, that there's a certain odd that's being associated with just being a dude in my wife's proximity. Okay, but let's go ahead and now I think the odds are much higher if this was some guy that she's previously slept with, because there's a lot of guys that aren't going to be a match for her, but I already know that this guy was a match for her at one point, and that's why the danger is there. So it's worse
Damn,
than
alright.
any of the other options in my opinion.
Jesus,
I mean, like,
Dan is
yeah.
just hardcore on that.
I mean,
No
we have
risks.
friends.
But the
No,
issue-
we have risks. Okay,
No
but
risks
it's
in Dan's
nah,
world.
We have couple friends. Like, that's the way you fucking do it. There's no way that I could ever have any female friend ever, right? Because it would put her in a fucking incredibly like fucked situation to be in. Like, I'm not saying that like we can be friends, right? So but like, if it got more serious, if I start like direct message, like we're not gonna have a direct messaging type of me and you. That's not gonna work out. I'm afraid to say. All right, I just don't put myself in those situations. Like today, there was a story about like this guy, Caleb Maupin got canceled because he.
I agreed to do so for $250 per session because I did need the money, and it felt like if I said no, hold on, wait, what am I reading right now?
Man.
Oh man. Oh, this is his
Show the
wife.
world your
I'm deleting his Twitter is
asshole.
humiliating, so it just plays into his face. Stop.
Right, this whole thing, and I said in Chud's chat, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of shit that can go fucked in my life, but it will never be for anything sexual assault, for sexting, anything, because I don't fucking put myself in those situations at all. Period. And I think that's the right way to fucking do a relationship completely.
It's kind of like alcohol. You know how like the Bible would say like never drink alcohol, don't be drunk or anything. So the idea basically is like you probably shouldn't be drunk, like at the Bible standpoint, because you can do some crazy, bad, nasty, wild shit when you're drunk.
Hell
So
yeah,
to
you
be
can.
really safe, you should maybe never drink. But a lot of people actually can drink and not get drunk or not do wild, crazy stuff. But if you're the type of person where every time you drink, you get wildly drunk and you do dumb shit, yeah, you should probably never drink. But I don't think like prescribing for every relationship of being like basically never drink isn't really the solution, because a lot of people are like, yeah, but I can handle a little bit of alcohol. I'm not necessarily going to be wild.
Not in
And I
Dan's
think
world.
No, it's
And-
about percentage outcomes. Okay, if you drink one glass of wine with dinner, that's probably not going to lead to anything fucking crazy. But if like you're doing 2 or 3 usually, and you're like you can handle it, the odds, if you look at 1,000 other people, are going to be way fucking off the chart. Whereas before it may have been 5% of something happening. 3 or 4 maybe takes that to 60. So that's why we look at the odds. And I think in my world, I like to keep those odds. We have as much freedom as possible to do what we want to do while still keeping it under like the 15% or something along those lines. And I think that's the right way of doing it. And you're like 95. Just don't fuck anyone, and I trust you. And it's to me,
No,
it's like
that's
12.
not what I'm saying though. I'm saying
It
put
feels
breaks
like
in.
it.
No, I'm willing to put breaks in. That's why I said like when it's a messy breakup situation, it's just a no. I don't think there's really any safe way to do it. But if it was a very like tame relationship, if they dated when they were 14 for 2 months, it's something where I feel much more comfortable with. I'm still going to have certain protections established and negotiated that I would want, right? I don't really want you hanging out alone if you've had like any sexual relationship in the past. You probably shouldn't be hanging out with them alone every week. Like there's going to be a whole bunch of safety parameters. But if they're like, yeah, but like now, what if they're their coworker all of a sudden? I'm not going to say, well, no, you can just never talk to them again, or no, you need to like switch a department, or like, no, you can't like text them every now and then. Like these are things that I'm like, these are the risks where you like, you can have 1 sip, you can have 2 drinks maybe. My partner might be able to handle 3 drinks really well and not do anything wild, but you probably shouldn't have 4 to 5 drinks, right? That would be
Wait.
kind of how I negotiate it. It's like finding the scale.
Does your wife have any male friends, Dan?
Um,
Wait,
Like,
is your wife
no.
allowed to have a cell phone?
Stop.
I'm just curious.
My wife has a lot of coworkers that are
One
men.
friendship with that.
I was just
No, I said
I was just checking.
like ones that's just her friend and not mine. No, but we have like tons of friends that are couples that are involved typically with a man and a woman, and we're friends with both.
Oh, like me and
Yes.
Melina. You guys are friends with us. We're like
Sure.
couples friends.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Couples friends are rough though. It's really hard to find a whole other couple where like that you're limited to just each other, that both parties get along really well. Like usually whenever you try to, I don't know if you've had this experience, but when like Nick and I try to find couple friends, it'll be like the like husband will like be really fun and we'll both kind of like jive, or like
Oh,
the
no,
wife will be
it's
really
not the
cool and
same,
we'll both
Jim.
kind of jive, but like the like other partner
actually,
like kind of left out and doesn't click as much
you
with
must
the
have
group and
stepped
stuff.
away.
I
I was
find couple
talking
friends is
earlier
actually,
about
like, pretty
how
difficult to like
this place
find
has
not
like
with
an
us.
people that
exercise
match
room,
super
but
well.
not
Me and Melina
like
go on Super World Dan's wife
not like a
and his
weights
wife, and we all
and
just we have a
treadmill
grand time every time we go out. It's
situation.
just-
So
it's
we've been
amazing.
doing a lot
I'll
of
tell you some of those stories in a year or two, guys.
like
It's pretty
frisbee and tennis and
I don't know
pickleball,
what's happening.
But,
which is actually
oh,
better
final question I
because
have on this topic.
instead of
What is
being
your
down
guys'
there for
policy
like
for devices? Are
2
you allowed
and
to
a
go to your
half,
partner's
3
messages
hours,
at any time, or how do you feel about that?
we've just
Do you
been
ever?
exercising.
In my relationship, our phones are pretty open. The only thing is like there's like certain stuff that we keep private as far as like diaries and stuff like that, because it's like if you're emotionally processing by
we've
yourself,
just been
there's
doing a lot
probably
more
reason.
intense
So like on
exercise.
my husband's
and,
phone, his notes section is where he'll like write down his thoughts and stuff.
and
So
it's
that's an
been,
area where like we keep
extra
it private
time
with us
after
because
we
like
get
you
done.
need some privacy and you should like negotiate it. But other than that, like basically everything, and I'm sure like if I really push
So
him, I was
we've
like, I
been
need
getting
to
done
see your
faster.
notes, he'd probably let me. It's just at this point, because of like we've also been separated, so this is like a whole negotiated thing. I really understand what the purpose of his notes is, and we can check each other's phones. We're very, very chill with that.
Wow. What about you, Dan?
Yeah.
Did your wife go through your messages ever?
I'll be right back.
I don't think we ever go through each other shit like that, but she's like, she'll use my phone if she's doing something. It's not like, oh, hold on, let me go and delete these. I don't know. I never felt the need to go through it like that, so I've never done that. I don't know if she's done it. Probably
Yeah, hell
because
yeah.
I'm kind of a Giga Chad a little bit. so I
Frisbee
wouldn't
golf
be
and
surprised, but
throwing
that's
a
fine. She
regular
can keep
just
doing it,
ultimate frisbee
That's
is
fine.
That's fair.
Yeah.
entirely different though.
Do you have a camera cover?
Yep.
Wait, do you want to just cover your camera and say nothing? Let's see what she says.
Sure. Look.
Guys, I have wireless headsets. I can literally hear you. the
God
entire
damn it.
time.
So stupid.
Okay, well.
I've played
anyways,
frisbee golf though. It's
That's
fun.
cute. It's a cute
No,
little prank.
shut up.
It's kind of boring.
Surprised?
No,
I really
okay,
like
on
playing
the
catch.
second thing. Okay, well, let's
Okay,
zip.
I have a hypothetical.
Yeah, what's your
question I
hypothetical?
prepared for cheating. Okay, so this is something I heard a relationship counselor or whatever speaking about. Actually, I think it was Jordan Peterson brought up this hypothetical.
Wow.
So you've got a hypothetical situation. You have already cheated. It was a fuck up. You know it's never going to happen again. You've done everything personally that you need to do to ensure that. So this is the vacuum. You know that it's never going to happen again. Do you tell your partner? Because if you tell your partner, it's only going to do damage to your relationship, but it's honest. And again, in this hypothetical, you've assumed it will never, ever happen again.
The
do
answer
you
to
do?
that would be no. The only reason that you tell the other person is to make yourself feel better, and it makes the other person feel worse. That's it. There is nothing else to do it. Honesty means nothing. You're gonna
Thanks,
fuck
Dad.
everything up. You know it's not gonna happen again, and the only reason that you want to tell that person is so that you can.
Yeah,
go
I was
and be like,
saying
"Oh,
earlier,
sorry, I did
one of the
this. Do you
coolest
forgive
things
me?"
about Amber
And like
is
that makes the other person feel like shit, makes them feel
from
worthless,
absolutely
etc.
no
And,
experience
fuck it.
whatsoever,
You cheated. You fucking deal with that for the rest
she
of your
toughed
life.
it
That's
out
your punishment.
for long
you wanna
enough
cheat,
to
you can go the rest of your life and fucking, think
learn
about
how
it
to
every day
legit
for the
throw
rest
a
of your
frisbee,
marriage that
like
you fucked
good
around.
distance,
And-
like
Okay, Dan's answer might be right, but it's just for the wrongest reasons.
accurate.
Okay.
And fucking.
If you're telling your partner you're cheating, it's not
She
to
even
make
puts
yourself feel better. I
band-aids
don't
on her
think anybody
fingers
feels
to
good.
protect
You're
her nails.
completely delusional. If you're you want to tell them, oh, I feel so much better. I was
Okay,
doing this
stop. Hold
secret."
on. Let me explain.
Never do it
I need
again.
no. Hold on. I need to explain why Dan is wrong because he's applying the general understanding of apologies to this specific situation because he doesn't understand why it doesn't work. Okay.
Oh, inform me.
Yeah, I will. Usually, when you apologize to somebody, usually that apology doesn't carry any consequences, so it's just done to make yourself feel better. You go up to somebody like, oh my god, when I said that mean thing to you, bro, I'm so sorry. When I said that mean thing, I'm so that was such a bad thing, blah, 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 okay? This is why apologies are worthless. This is why when you apologize, at least in the Catholic Church to God, Just the confession doesn't matter. The other part of that, I believe, is called penance. It's arguably
Competitively,
the
I
most
don't know
important
if
part. You
they-
have to go and do an act of service to
The
show
city
God
we're
that
in
you're
is,
actually
like,
sorry for what
kinda
you've done. When we talk about apologizing to a partner for
in its
cheating, the
demographics.
apology part is easy.
So
but
I
the
don't know
difficult
if we're
part
gonna find
afterwards
any,
is you don't know what they're going to do. And when you
ultimate Frisbee
apologize to
teams.
somebody for cheating, what you're really doing is admitting you cheated, which means that you're giving them the opportunity to end the relationship, which is a scary part for you to be in if you don't want the relationship to end. So just telling somebody that you cheated is not something you do for yourself. If anything, you're doing it for them because you're giving them the agency to make a decision based on what's happened in the relationship about how they want to go forward.
Yeah, but we're in a vacuum, and whatever.
We're
I
in the
disagree.
vacuum, right? So you're in the vacuum. Let's assume that they'll never find out. You can keep it from them the rest of your life, and you know that you're never going to do it again. And let's also assume your relationship in every other way is an excellent relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
you
she's
know
got
that
the
if you tell
build
them
for
you're
it.
going to just do harm,
She's
it's going
almost
to
6
probably
foot.
blow up your relationship
And she
and make
can
everything
really
worse.
fling that
And so
motherfucker.
this is the one. I'm not actually on Dan's side either. This is
Sure.
I'm giving the hypothetical because I have no idea where to fall on this because I can see such good reasons for both answers.
No, there's a really easy answer to this, I think. No, there's not. Fuck. I was going to say, you should do whatever you want your partner to do. If your partner cheated on you, and
You would, of course, want to know.
if that's the case, then you should tell them.
That they would want to know. That's the issue.
Yeah,
right?
but
It's like-
everyone wants to know, but
Well, do they?
It's not that simple.
Well,
yeah,
wanna
they
know?
do.
I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
do.
so.
No, they do.
I don't know
guarantee-
sometimes.
I almost guarantee you that Nick probably wouldn't want to know in this situation, and
He
I
would.
would.
He would.
I don't think so.
He would.
Here's a question. This is in the same vein, but a little trickier. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. You exist in a community. Let's say.
I do.
Wait, so you would want to know. That's what you're saying, Dan. You'd want to know if she cheated.
I'd wanna know.
I would want to know.
I never
Okay.
forget the little
Let's say
people.
that you could flip a switch, and all of a sudden you're like Kira from Death Note. You can see, of all the men that you interact with, every single person your wife has had a sexual relationship. Would you want to know that?
Like what, in the room with me or something?
No, just like wherever you're at. Like you could tell, like, oh, she was with this guy, or oh, she was with that guy. You would know instantly. Like maybe you have a
Like, it's
mutual
like a
friend,
power, like,
maybe
you
you have
get
an old
more
friend of
around them.
yourself, and all of a sudden you can see like anybody, like, oh shit, she had a sex. Would you want to know all of that, or would you rather just not know and not care, and just interact with people not knowing?
I
mean,
might be mistaken,
that
but
would-
I think I might be on a no-hit.
Sorry, I'm trying to understand where you're going. For me, that would be
Streak
useless.
right
You know,
here.
she grew up in
Okay,
Russia,
I engage with the fucking hypothetical that you didn't, fucking enslave her
okay,
from
what I-
Eastern Europe as a sex slave
I
to
will-
fucking
I will
marry you for a
always-
green card, okay?
Okay.
Assume it's a normal relationship. Because here's the thing that some people don't know, okay? Or here's the thing that bothers some people. Sometimes
there it
people,
goes.
they find out that their significant other has a friend, and that friend is totally fine. They read messages, everybody gets along, they're chill, blah, 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 blah. And then like 5 years later, a friend of a friend gets drunk, and then they found out my significant other fucked that person in high school or college, and now there's a huge problem, even though nothing has really changed or whatever. So I'm thinking in those situations, would it be better to just not know at all, or is all the information really good? Because sometimes people find out things like that, it fucks with their head a lot, and they're like, fuck. Or even to even go more fundamental, like that question of like, should a girl tell a guy her real number, right? Some guy might be totally in love with a girl, loves her, everything's great, 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 or past sexual experiences, right? Everything's great, and then you get drunk, you're like, oh, what's the craziest thing you've ever done? And she's like, oh, well, one time, I had a gangbang with 4 dudes, and then the guy's like, I can never see you the same again. I'm breaking up with you. And it's like, wait, did you just nuke a good relationship for no reason? So I'm just kind of curious, all in the vein of like, is all the information good? Do you want all the information? Do you truly want it all, or?
You think you do. Like, I mean, going back to the example of the whole cheating thing, like, I was thinking about it. Like, I would want to know if my wife cheated on me, but I would also just prefer to continue going through life as I am right now, not thinking about it, assuming that she hasn't. Does that make sense? Like,
No.
Yeah, this is the answer I would give basically. I think most humans are curious enough that like when we're given this hypothetical,
No,
we
I think
want
you're
to
right.
know,
I think
but
that's
probably
when
our
I
lives
was
would be
talking
better
about it.
if we didn't know and if we desired that. Like that, I think that's kind of what I'm like. I know that I'd want to know, and I also know that my life is worse for that propensity.
I think I
to some
started
degree.
talking about my
like,
stream
my
room
desire, my
right
like
after that.
insatiable curiosity, and like wanting to have all the information and stuff probably also makes my life worse because there's an element of like control in like wanting to know, right? My life would probably be better if my predisposition said, fuck it. If my relationship can be happy, I'd be better off knowing. That's probably the healthier orientation to have, but that's not my personality at this point.
it's very much like a counterintuitive type of thing, but like right now, the way I exist right now is I feel and I know with like 100% certainty that my wife hasn't been with someone else while we've been together. right? That's what I feel, and that's what I know right now. But if you ask me, hey, what?
Kelly, what are you joining this for? We're in an official show. Yeah, go. You got.
I gotta say something real quick.
Go. What do you want?
HIV can take up to 3 months to show up, so tell your partners if you fucking cheat on them.
Okay, hold on. Firstly, if it was
shitty.
going to be any STD, it's going to be herpes, HSV,
Okay.
not HIV. The chances of you getting HIV from cheating in straight sex is like fucking astronomically low. Okay,
But
that
it's
is
not
true.
zero, is it, buddy?
True. Okay,
Anyway,
yeah.
tell
STDs are a compounding factor. That is true. Sure, you should always be getting tested if you do cheat. Some of them can take a few weeks or a few months to show up, depending on the STD. Yeah, that's true. Okay,
Yeah, don't be selfish, fucks. Okay, I'm done.
cool.
Sorry, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. Remember the STDs, guys.
I'm completely derailed from whatever we were talking about. But yeah. All right, can we start doing callers, I guess?
Yeah, I think we're an hour late and now an hour in, so hopefully.
Okay, hold on. Firstly, I said this was at 2 o'clock today, not 1. So fuck you. We're not an hour
Our
late.
tweet and everything was set up at 1.
No
Everything was
shot.
set up
It was on my calendar at 2. I don't
No,
believe
I
you.
checked our tweet and everything. I was like, but I didn't want to say anything. 'cause I
Good.
didn't wanna
Don't.
be that
Well, and
guy.
here you are still talking. So drag in the
Well,
callers.
You made me that guy.
Okay.
This is your fault. All right. I'll let our caller know. I'll call in guy.
Yeah, bring in the first one. Yeah, we never got to the second topic. Just don't get bored of your partner. Okay, there you go. Oh God, I'm getting horny. Sorry, I'm just kidding. What you know what you're doing with it?
Yeah, I want to listen to that
No,
music.
no, 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 stop!
Who's
Stop!
got that
Stop!
song? It's like
Stop!
the Egyptian
Just
song.
stop! Stop! Stop it! Okay,
What the fuck?
Brad Loop. What do you want? I'm sorry. Hold on. Brad, welcome to the call today.
Caller?
Yeah.
Can we
Hi.
judge
feel
you
like
a little bit by your
HPV
avatar,
is the
though?
one
Like,
that's
I feel like I
like-
already know so much about.
People
Well, I
don't
mean,
even
you know they say
consider
don't
it
judge a book by the cover,
like an
but like we all do
STD
anyway.
unless you
Blake
get
that
warts.
Brad would like to apply in
But
your
like
relationship with him, Dan. For
the
insurance purposes, he would like to not
non-symptomatic
tell you. It would be
version
better
of
if he didn't know.
HPV is
if he
like
didn't know what
somewhere
he thought
like
about his avatar.
70% of sexually active adults have it.
You're not biased.
Okay, what do you got for us today?
All right.
The kind that can give
well,
you
guys
throat
kinda hit
and
on it a
ass
little bit
and
with
cervical
your
cancer.
little Curavision hypothetical. It was something related with like, if you have an ex you still interact with, do you?
It's
have,
the same virus that
should you tell your
causes
partner
warts
about it? And
everywhere
if
on your
so,
body,
like,
but there's
why?
certain
Because,
strains that can only
I can
affect
go into
your
detail,
like
the exact
genital area.
situation if you like, or we could just answer that question and I can add more layers onto it, whichever one works.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about this ex. How long did you date? How long were you? Wait, real quick. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your age?
Oh wow.
Age,
Yeah,
sex,
it-
location.
it
Let's do it
can,
90 style. Go ahead.
ASL.
I'm male. I live northeast.
It can
26 years old.
Neat status.
it can present with
Hello?
warts.
What is it?
Neat status.
Or
Are you
not,
employed, working?
but the
Oh,
kind that
I'm
doesn't
working.
present with
I
warts
work in
is
big
actually
tech.
more of a
Okay.
risk of causing
Yeah.
certain
A
kinds
little
of
bit
cancer
about
down the
me,
road.
I'm kind of a nerd. Spend way too much time online. I like video games, anime, etc. I have a lot of other hobbies related to cosplay and things like that. So that kind of leans into. I can like segue towards the situation I'm dealing with, if that's okay.
Okay, go for it. Wait, tell us real quick about your ex. When did you date? How long? What happened? Why did you break
Yeah,
up?
all right. My ex, we dated for like a little less than a year. We met through one of my hobbies, which was like an anime group. The relationship was started off okay. We kind of hit it off immediately, but then we kind of met. She low-key, she was on some like abusive bullshit, and she ended up breaking up with me because I got more controlling personally. I think I just had boundaries, especially with like sleeping over in places and
So
stuff like
sorry, when
that,
you say she was on abusive bullshit, do you mean that she was saying that you were being abusive, or she was being abusive to you? What does that mean?
I would say, in my opinion, that she was a little bit abusive, very cold whenever I kind of expressed things to her.
Right.
There were certain like boundaries which I didn't explicitly
I'm
make, but
guessing
I felt like
that,
it was
like
kind of
especially for
assumed.
like syphilis,
Give us an
which
example of
is,
like what's like one boundary that you assumed was a boundary and they broke it or
supposedly
something.
the oldest
If you have a
STD.
choice between staying
like,
over
I'm
at,
guessing that,
one of your male friend's place or my place, if
like,
it's
that's
like the distance is like a 20-minute
prehistory.
walk, you should probably choose my place.
It's probably
She was
like
staying the night over at
existed
guy
since
friends' places.
prior to
Yes, exactly.
fucking
Okay. So It's a little weird. but-
Homo sapiens.
Yeah. Also, like when we would hang out, she was like a little distant, stuff like that. There's a lot of nuance to these types of things. Do you want more details or?
How'd you guys break up? Let's
Yeah,
get to the
Let's
breakup.
get to that.
Oh, okay. So there was another. So she would do that, and there was one point where. Okay, I will be honest.
All right,
we
we're getting
spent-
close to
There
time,
was like
boys.
an event, anime-related event at this guy's place, and after everything was done, I thought she would come over to my
Batman
place. 'cause,
says
like, it was
his
20-minute walk,
time.
obvious stuff as in a relationship. And she decided, like, she said, like, she was tired and she wanted to stay there. And I was like, what the f-? And I kind of blew up on her, said, like, said some possessive stuff. And she was taken aback. A few weeks later, even though I apologized, I explained what I did wrong.
Wait, real quick. Can you give me
later.
real
Yep.
quick? How old are you guys when you're dating here? Like 24, 25, 23? What?
I was 23, fresh out of college. She was like 21 or so, so I was a little older.
Okay. And she's getting tired and staying the night at guys' houses? Are these like in the context of like 10 or 20 people hanging out at a house, or is this just her and another person?
It was around 7 people. 3 people were staying over.
Okay. Changes things a little bit, but all right.
Yeah, but I feel like still, if it's a 20-minute walk, you know, just as a respect.
Okay, hold on. I'm just making a lot of assumptions and then asking questions. You can tell me if it's right or wrong, okay?
Sure.
Were you guys in conflict often where you were kind of hanging around with nothing to do and she had the opportunity to like go eat with a friend or go do something, and you're kind of getting thoughts in your head of like, why are you going out to eat with this friend when like you know that I'm available now? Or like, why are you getting coffee with this person when you know that like you could have called me to wake me up and I would have been able? Like, were these things that were like popping up a lot, or do you not think so? Or
no, we weren't having any issues like that. Like I'm perfectly okay with like having a girl who has
it's a
her
pretty
own
good
shit
film.
going on.
Mhm.
I think there was only certain situations,
very
choice
allegorical.
situations where it's like, okay, you should probably stick with me. Like if she has her own friends, she likes to go on her events alone. Like that's perfectly acceptable. She's a human being.
so this thing only came up when it came time to like who's sleeping, like her sleeping over at houses or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. Were you ever invited to like any of these
Houses,
party
yeah.
things, or?
Oh yeah. So yeah, definitely. You either A, I was invited, or B, like I'd set them up. So
Wait,
Wait.
then why weren't you over at any of these sleepovers? Yeah.
so I'm sorry if I didn't explain this properly. So what would happen is we have an event at someone's place, and then like it would be like a party or a showing for a new anime, things of that nature. And then after it would be like maybe 11, 12 a.m. And then like you can either like stay at the person's place or like go somewhere else, go home.
Mm-hmm.
And she decided to not go home with me. Yeah. Also, this
Oh
is
wait,
not-
did you go home, or did you have the option to stay as
yeah.
well?
I did have the option to stay as well.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
This is a lot
But
different. I'm
also-
understanding more now. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. I'm trying to because
Yeah.
initially, as you present it, it almost sounds like she has the opportunity to spend the night with a guy, or just like take like a 20-minute walk to your place, and she's doing that. And it's like, well, that sounds really shitty. But now it sounds like what's happening is not to say that anything's right or wrong. I'm just figuring out. So you guys are kind of like all hanging out. There's like a party going on at somebody's house, or like a get together, whatever. And then as the night winds down, some people can kind of sleep over and hang out. Other people can go home. You wanted to go home with her, but she was like, oh, I'm kind of having fun here. Like I want to just like sleep over and hang out, basically.
No, like sleepover. I mean, like it wouldn't be hanging out. It'd literally just be sleeping.
Sure.
But you were there first. You left and she stayed.
Yeah.
What would she say when you would say like, "Hey, can we like go back to my place?" Like, what was her response to that?
Like that. Yeah, she was like tired and whatever and stuff like that.
Would it just
Also,
be
this
her
isn't-
alone, or were there multiple?
No, it
people
sounds like there were
staying
3 or
over?
4 people staying over.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait, is there a
but-
chance that she? How many? Is there a chance that she was just tired?
I mean, hypothetically, yeah, but like again, I'm retelling these things, there's a lot of nuance. It's if it was just a one-off event, then I wouldn't have been okay. But it was more of like a periodic thing with her being someone disconnected, Like little slights here and there that even other people I knew was like, yo, bro, is she okay? Like, the girl's acting this way and whatever. Like, it's kind of off. So yeah, and that was kind of everything kind of accumulated up to that point. And also, this is not the thing I wanted to talk to originally. So.
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay.
But these are important background things.
Fair
You
enough.
said other people were noticing she was off. What do you mean by that?
So usually at certain, I guess, of course, everyone is a little bit different, but there'd be situations where she's like really standoffish around me, even though we were like in an intimate relationship, stuff like
What is, you gotta explain that. What does standoffish mean?
So, like we would be at parties and whatever, and she would like be on the opposite side of the room, not a lot of like physical touching stuff, even though later on that's like a personal thing, but there you kind of realize how like that's really weird after I give some information later on, because she's definitely touchy most of the time, but when she was with me, she was very disinterested in doing stuff like that.
Okay, so the call-in issue was basically this girl you're befriending again and you're in a new relationship. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the girl that you're wanting to befriend. How does your partner feel about that?
My current partner,
Does she know
Doesn't know.
that you had a relationship,
Yes.
a history with this girl?
So the main issue was, and she does know now, but the issue was
Okay.
I like the relationship wasn't that good. There's no chance of me trying to cheat with her again.
That's
Like I fucking hated it. Oh no, don't do it, Dan. Don't do it. Listen, I have notes. So the relationship wasn't that good. She obviously wasn't feeling me then. Then after a couple of months or whatever, we started to do like a kind of friends with benefit type of thing. So
Wait.
that
With the ex, right?
With the ex?
Yes, with the ex. Yes.
Okay.
And there's no way in your mind that you're going to cheat on your current partner.
Sorry.
Look,
Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, walk us down. We're down. We're
Okay.
we're in your life. We're in your shoes right now. Okay, we're taking.
This
a
is,
walk.
by the way, what I was talking about, Kyla, when I was saying that, like, I don't put myself in these situations. Because
okay? You get the first
Wait, hold on.
I'm a realist. All right,
another one, yeah.
bro.
Let's
tell me
hear it.
more how you're never gonna fuck this
Yeah,
bitch,
go
even
ahead.
though you did once before. Go ahead. I want to hear about
Yeah,
it.
he's got this. I believe in him.
He's got fucking the iron cock that will never go up unless it's on control. But let's hear it.
Look, I'm happy in my relationship. Okay, I stopped it off with her before like a decent amount of time before I met my current partner, and but the issue is like we're still we have a lot of the same hobbies, we're in the same groups, and despite some like bullshit that she pulled, other things that's kind of unrelated that kind of upset me, like in between the time where we broke up and I got with my my current partner, like there was like one time where she knew that I was dating my current partner, and there was this guy who was bi, I suppose, and she
Perfect timing.
kind of asked me to have like a threesome, and I was like no, and then they keep on pushing it or whatever.
Hell
so
yeah,
that was
man.
really fucked up,
Appreciate the
but
project.
I
I got something to work on. But yeah, I'm gonna head to the
everyone.
either
like, she
we're
was
going
fairly
to the tennis
popular.
court or
She was,
we're
like,
gonna
one of
throw
the
some
3
frisbee.
girls who was
But
part of it.
either way,
So,
I appreciate
like,
you
I still had to
being
interact
Johnny
with her
on the
because I couldn't
spot,
get her
coming
kicked out
greeting me for my
because,
my
to be honest,
first
the-
stream
the
back.
group is full of fucking
I
soy
will be
boys who
seeing you
don't give
more
a fuck when
often.
women are like mean. or
Take it easy,
whatever.
man. Have a good nap.
Long story
Peace.
short, we ended up having.
And yeah, everybody else have a good one too.